Vesipompa still has a minimal chance if they win their last 2 games. I don't remember, or last 4 games actually. I don't remember who they're playing, but they could still catch up to
Tunnel Vision and I believe Renascore.
Ooh, Tunnel Vision's gonna be tough.
Oh, Tunnel Vision and Hymo. So I mean, I think they probably will beat Hymo both games, but
yeah,
even though Tunnel Vision are in the best form, I'd be stunned if they actually got it. They have to collect 12 points to pass them and 11 to tie them, and I'm not sure exactly what the tiebreaker is. But if the Blackjacks have the tiebreaker, they literally have to win out in regulation. They can't drop. They can't drop They can't drop anything but like.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
Hello, sports gamers, and welcome back to another edition of the ECL Elite, the last of our regular season coverage here at SportsGamer. Playoffs just around the corner. My name is Sin, joined today by Mr. Brandon B. Major Bigsby. And how are you doing today, my friend?
Doing great, man. Last day of the regular season. Can't wait to see some of these teams battle. We're going to see 3 teams that are locked into the playoffs today. So almost a little bit of a preview of what we have to come here over the next few weeks. Absolutely can't wait for it.
Yeah, and Valokuitunen and Straikers going head-to-head. This has become a classic matchup, of course. Valokuitunen, the defending champion. Straikers, champions long ago. They've been trying to work their way back into it. They just haven't been able to get under the hump. Or over the hump, excuse me. Will this season be the one where they're able to do it? We'll take a quick look now at the standings and see just how things are laying out and have been shaping up for everyone here. You can see there, Valokuitunen firmly in first place, a 5-point lead over Straikers, just the 2 games in hand. Now, Straikers can pass them, but they have to get 2 regulation wins, which definitely seems like a tall task.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess technically they could win 1 in overtime, but even then, the points just really not sure if they would add up considering tiebreakers. So Valokuitunen and Esports in a very good position to clinch that number 1 spot. I think the team that's going to be watching especially closely here for this one is Totori, currently sitting in 3rd. You see Straikers having to play Valokuitunen, who have been arguably in the best form of any team in the Elite Division in the last couple of weeks. If they're able to somehow beat them both times, Valokuitunen that is, that gives Totori the opportunity to come up and take that number 2 spot. Who would have thought that was going to happen coming into the season? So I think Totori going to be especially mindful of watching this one while they also end up playing their last 2 games of the regular season against X and another playoff team. So a lot of these playoff teams then going up against one another today, going to be a lot of fun to see how this all shakes out once we end the broadcast today to see those final standings.
Yeah, and, it's been quite rare where we're not expecting to see much shakeup when it comes to who's in the playoff form. I believe only 1 team on that right side has a chance. If Vesapompa is able to get 12 out of 12 points, then they could, theoretically pass up the Blackjacks, but that, again, is quite a tall task here for Vesapompa. So, it's not as crazy of an end to a season as we've seen perhaps in the past, but, good to see, the Blackjacks getting themselves back into that playoff situation.
Yeah, and I think that Blackjacks have to be feeling pretty good about where they stand. Obviously, you would love to be locked in the most ideal of situations. Vesapompa, they play Tunnel Vision and Hymo, so, if they end up getting all 4 of those victories in regulation, they would end up passing the Blackjacks, but again, very, very tall task for Vesapompa to actually pull off. The good thing for Vesapompa, however, is even if they don't clinch, they are clinched in that no man's land position. They're in that top 12, so nobody can pass them. They won't have to worry about going into a relegation series, but nevertheless, you do want to try and get into the playoffs, especially considering Vesapompa, a team that made it to the semifinals just a season ago in the winter season, so it would be a little bit of a disappointment for them not to get in, but the Blackjacks obviously going to be scoreboard watching plenty here in this day.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens, but we'll turn our attention now to the matchup at hand of Valokuitunen and Straikers here. You can see what they've done so far in the regular season, and it's almost looking quite like a mirror match, both with strong special teams, but Valokuitunen just has that much better of a goal differential.
Yeah, I mean, it's really crazy, honestly, to see it just because how good the Straikers are. They've been one of the best teams in the league. They still are to this very day. So just to see the difference in goal differential, it's not anything about Straikers in that position. It's just about what Valokuitunen and Esports have been doing all season long. I mean, just the dominance that we have seen from them. Best goals for in the league by a good margin, over half a goal for per game difference between first and second almost, and then almost the same amount between first and second in goals allowed per game. So Valokuitunen and Esports, they have been easily the most dominant team in the league all season long. The numbers just really backing that claim up.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we'll see if they're going to be able to do that. This is going to be a heck of a matchup nonetheless. And now we'll take a look at the lineups. Lots of familiar names, familiar faces. And, well, if you're on the side of Valokuitunen, you don't want to change too much up. But obviously, the addition of Piku Roger has been huge. And he starts on the left wing side, Benito in the middle, Nicky Dangles on the right wing. And on the back end, of course, the pairing of dreams, some might say, Domi and Teemu with Finsere in between the pikes. And on the side of Strikers here, you have Puanso, Eki, and Dempinen up front, Nasustelia and Flyer Kungen on the points, and Hanselinho in between the pipes. And interesting to see Eki once again in that center spot. So we'll take a look at that individual matchup, how he matches up against Benito. We've seen Eki play just about everywhere, and well, he's doing quite good in the center slot this season.
Yeah, Eki, he's been kind of a five-tool player, really, for this team. He's done a little bit of everything. He's been really the utility guy that has played every single position for Strikers throughout the years. I'm just waiting to see when he goes ahead and goes back in between the pipes at some point. But this season at center, and he's been nothing short of phenomenal. Typically, when you have stats that are almost identical to Benito, you are doing something right and then some. So to see him doing what he has been doing really all season long has been spectacular. I think it's going to be really fun to watch because, as we mentioned, Eki not usually a center, but if anyone knows Benito, it is Eki. He's a guy that has one of the highest IQs throughout this entire division, and he's very familiar with this Valokuitunen team, really from top to bottom. He's played all of them for years in finals and semifinals, so you know that he knows some of Benito's tendencies despite not lining up with him directly at that center spot down the middle. So this matchup specifically, I think I'm the most intrigued by. Two of the best players in the league, regardless of position, matching up against one another here.
Absolutely. And I mean, we'll probably be saying something similar as we go up and down the lineup. We'll turn our attention now to the winger comparisons. And so once again, it's hard to make an argument against any of them for, potentially one of the best in the ECL. Piku Roger and Nicky Dangles have been phenomenal together. It seems like a team like Valokuitunen and whoever they kind of plug in as an extra person, obviously Piku Roger coming over from Strikers in the last season. He is just fit like a glove. 38 goals in 28 games.
Yeah, you mentioned that Piku Roger coming in from Strikers with Goons a long time before that, and I don't think he was underrated necessarily, was Piku Roger, but I don't really think he was a guy that a lot of people thought would be someone that was in top 5 in points and leading the league in both goals and points in a season. Well, right now he is. You see those 38 goals, those 67 points so far this year. He has been able to go to multiple top different teams and make an instant impact. It just feels like wherever he goes, offense and goal scoring seems to come with him. So impressive what Piku Roger has been able to do over the last couple of seasons. It's going to be a lot of fun to see him match up against the team that he played for last season. I can't wait to see maybe how that matchup is because Strikers know his game a little bit, but just like on the other end, Piku Roger knows what they like to do and maybe can exploit a couple of those weaknesses as well. So that's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And we haven't even talked about Nicky Dangles right next to him. So it just goes to show you how good this Valokuitunen team is, as well as Puanso and Templeton on the other side. Very comparable numbers over there.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we could spend the whole broadcast talking about the pedigree of all these guys. Templeton, obviously a very, very accomplished 1v1 player and has been in the Sixes scene for quite some time. Getting that chance now with one of those top teams just goes to show you how good that the players of this league know that he is. But we'll take a look now at the defensive matchups. Keep things moving here. And for Domi, Teemu, I mean, all the point totals, this is it's just up and down the lineup. It's like as close as it gets to being incredibly similar. The big advantage or the big difference here is just those high hit totals for Domi and Teemu.
Yeah, and it's funny because I feel like when you think about this Valokuitunen team over the years, hits aren't really the one thing that come to mind. I think you typically think of a team like Goons when you think about physicality and laying the body around, but Valokuitunen Esports, quietly enough, they're 4th in the league in hits, 767 so far throughout this season. So they've been one of the higher hitting teams in the league really all year long. So it's been something that's gone kind of underrated for them, but nevertheless, they do like to kind of throw that body around. So it's going to be interesting to see how that makes an impact here for the Strikers team that, as we mentioned, loves to kind of take their time with the puck and move it around. Sometimes that physicality can throw things off just a little bit. So just one more extra dimension to this Valokuitunen defense that you have to consider. Not only are they able to trap and lock things down and take away passing lanes and shooting lanes, but they're also able to throw the body as well and force those turnovers with their physicality.
Absolutely. And the last matchup, of course, is the matchup of the goaltenders here, and two of the very best. One a little bit more tenured than the other, but that doesn't stop Vincere from really making his mark on the ECL Elite as he has done the past few seasons.
Yeah, and I think for Vincere right now, probably one of the favorites for goaltender of the year, and rightfully so, an 88 save percentage. I mean, he has numbers that there are some NHL goalies that in real life that aren't actually touching. So to see him doing this, absolutely unreal. As much credit as the guys in front of him get. I think Vincere, one of those guys that over the years, everyone kind of felt like, hey man, this guy can be a top goalie in the league, just wasn't on one of those top teams. The minute he got his chance, he has just run with it. It has been absolutely phenomenal. I still remember calling him in the pro division just a couple of years ago with Reality Check and seeing him play. You always knew that talent was there, and now he's really just showing the world what he's been made of all along. But matching up against Angelino on the other side, who has been one of the top goalies in the world for 4, 5, 6 years now, Stin, and you see his numbers absolutely spectacular as well. These two are going to be so fun to watch compare against one another, because either one of them can steal a game. You get them matched up against one another now, you can see these games end up being 1 goal, 2 goal difference easily with the way these two play when they're dialed in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always remember this incredibly classic matchup between these two teams. I can't remember which season, but it was during NHL 23. And it was H-Reds versus, I think at the time they were, I don't think they were Strikers quite yet. But again, they would have been for Lunda at the time, and my goodness, Hanselinho just absolutely stood on his head and took the game to like double, triple overtime, as H-Reds, like, they just had some like this distinct advantage against Frölunda in that 2-game set, and they were just pouring shots on, and it was a defensive and goaltending matchup, and Hanselinho just stood on his head. I mean, there's just so many classic instances like that Hanselinho has, where he's just shown that he is an incredible goaltender. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup to see how Vincere and Hanselinho do. And we should be just a few moments away from puck drop as well. But again, this matchup has such huge implications. If Strikers somehow able to, take it to Valokuitunen and they could take that 1 seed away, it's not the most important thing in the world, but that's a big moral victory, I think, heading into the playoffs, when Strikers have for the last bunch of seasons continued to come up short. It has been a while since Eki and the rest of these guys have hoisted hardware over their heads in the ECL division. They used to trade it off with Havu, and now, Havu and that team have combined, and they are now Strikers. So, like, it's been a while. Like I said, H-Reds had their dynasty. Tunnel Vision had their dynasty. Now, H-Reds, now Valokuitunen have won once again. We're kind of waiting, for Strikers to be able to take that next step. They just quite haven't done it yet.
Yeah, and I think that we saw last season, I think it was actually, ironically, Pico Roger that I had talked to, and I had talked to Eki as well during the playoffs last season in interviews, and I asked both of them, like, what do you think it's going to take to get over the hump? Because these guys have not lifted that trophy in a long time. If I'm correct, ECL 11 was the last time any of these players lifted an ECL Elite trophy, and that was when Philadelphia were around, and you're talking 2 or 3 years ago, so that was NHL 21, so it's been a long time coming for Strikers. I know they have been hungrier than ever to really get there. There's that little bit of extra motivation, but Valokuitunen Esports, again, that dynasty, that defending champion, the way that they have played so far this season, this right here could be a stepping stone to those playoffs, because right now we're looking at a potential championship matchup. Just a preview of it here in the last game of the season.
Absolutely, especially with how they're seeded up here. Won't be meeting until the playoffs get deep, so we'll see what happens right here as Straikers getting in on the attack early on. So we do have the name glitch happening, of course, but we'll do our best to call around that as look like Tempinen just coughed that, or no, that's Puanso coughing that pop up. Benito coming back the other way. Backdoor feed right there. Net gets knocked off its moorings. We'll have an early whistle here.
Early whistle, but a quick start to this thing already. Valokuitunen and Esports getting in, getting that quick opportunity just 2 minutes in. That's exactly what you want to see, and that's how they love to start out. Pouncing immediately, imposing their game to kind of take that momentum and control the pace of it.
Absolutely. Nasustelia and Valokuitunen playing catch with it. Teemu and Domi do the same. Pikuraja now gaining the line. Valokuitunen in on the attack. Fortunately for them, it doesn't go too far. Eki now plays it over to Tempinen. Tempinen just throws that one in front. Looked like Eki may have gotten a piece of that, but in too tight, and Finsetti's able to make the save. Valokuitunen trying to quick counterattack. They can't quite connect. Errant pass from Eki, and gonna have to be careful with it. Tempinen now trying to gain that line. They'll have to reset in the neutral zone as it's a good poke. And that's what you might see a lot of here. Both these two teams pretty good at patrolling their blue line. Nice saucer pass right there. Eki goes back. They a shot on right there by Puanso, but a good save by Finsetti. Nicky Dangles retrieves it in the neutral zone. And Valokuitunen gained the line right there. Good pass over. Pikuraja gets bumped. Puanso had it. And now Tempinen has some trouble, but he does maintain possession over the blue line, drops it back to the point. Nasustelia to Valokuitunen, his shot gloved by Finsetti, but he's not able to smother it. Valokuitunen trying to get a quick counterattack going. They're snuffed out over the blue line, but their forecheck gets the puck back momentarily, but it skitters out to the neutral zone. Dangerous pass right there from Puanso, but it goes through. Valokuitunen now gets it up to Tempinen. He retrieved the puck on the half wall, gets it low. Puanso with a spin shot goes just wide of the cage. Eki now looking for the short side, another save by Finsetti, and a big, oh man, that was nearly a 3-on-1 for Valokuitunen, and they just weren't able to get that loose puck. Zone entry by Nasustelia, snuffed out immediately. Benito now in possession, kicks over to Nicky Dangles. His pass back to the point goes awry, and Valokuitunen forced to reset, as this first period has just felt like it's flown by. Nicky Dangles drops it back. One-timer sails over the net. And that's a missed pass right there by Puanso. Benito goes over to Teemu. His low shot. Valokuitunen will collect it behind the nets. His pass. Straikers having a little bit of trouble getting out of their zone right now, but they do. And some space for Puanso. Excellent back check right there by Domi. And he broke up what could have been a good A-grade chance. He has the puck now. Playing catch with his centerman right there. Pikuraja covering on the point, now in possession. Teemu down low to Nicky Dangles. He'll receive it back along the half wall. Valokuitunen beginning to get their cycle established, but it's not clean, and Straikers do force the turnover there. Puanso, though, another missed pass, and he's had a little bit of trouble with the puck so far in this period. Valokuitunen now. Setting up their cycle. Teemu trying to get that one down low, taken away by Puanso. He'll send that one out. That will go for icing, and with 31.9, we'll have an offensive zone draw.
Yes, and you know, you talked about this game seeming like it's flying by. Well, that's just the second stoppage that we've had this entire game so far. Just 31.7 seconds left now in the first, and these two teams going back and forth right now trying to find that first goal.
6 seconds remaining as Valokuitunen trying to get one more shot on. Valokuitunen will take it behind the net and slap it down. That will do it for the first period. Scoreless here, but plenty of action in either end.
Yeah, and I think you kind of saw shades of what makes both of these teams really so good and some of the best here in the Elite Division. You saw Valokuitunen, a little bit of that forechecking that we got to see from them against Totally earlier in the week that gave Totally so much trouble. You saw Straikers kind of struggling with that a little bit on their breakout. I think that's just some of the pressure that Valokuitunen Esports applies defensively. We've gotten to see a little bit of that there. While for Straikers, they've been able to take advantage of opportunities. They haven't had the most zone time. You see a minute and a half difference between the two in time on attack in favor of Valokuitunen, but when Straikers have been in the offensive zone, they've been able to capitalize on that time and get a few opportunities. Vincere has had to be sharp in net so far, so going to be interesting to see who gets that first goal, because I actually think that whoever is could have a pretty big advantage here in terms of the momentum being on their side and things may be swinging in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely, and credit where it's due as well. Strikers have been doing a pretty good job of blocking some shots too. Valokuitunen usually not afraid to throw that puck on. They've tried to be a bit more patient at times, and again, there hasn't been a whole lot of space. The defense of both of these two teams, they are suffocating, and they're just trying to shut things down. So I like the mentality so far for Strikers as Poinso's pass, trying to hit Thempen in there. They don't quite connect. It still went on goal off of a loose puck. Roger gets it in for Valokuitunen. Kicks back to Teemu. He goes to Benito. Now Teemu has it again. Domi's shot. Hits a body in front. Teemu now stepping up. He gets bodied along the half wall and turns it over. And here comes Strikers back the other way. Valokuitunen joining the rush. Tons of experience doing that. Again, former right winger. Now playing defense for this Strikers squad. They fail to get a great scoring chance off of that rush, and it's back the other way, but immediately turned over. Eki passed it over. Nice low shot from Poinso. As Nasustelia now in the rush. Eki goes back up top to Tempinen. They play catch, and now it's down low. Poinso looking for Eki again, trying that short side opportunity, but Valokuitunen all over that to take it away. Backdoor feed, and dangerous right there. It was intercepted. I think that was Valokuitunen. He just kind of sent it out, probably going for a little bit of a bump. Nonetheless, it's an icing.
And how good has the defense of these two sides been so far? I feel like we've seen a few opportunities here for both teams where they've looked good, could have a chance to go in the back of the net, but a defender is just right where they're supposed to be to pick it off and avoid a potential chance.
Absolutely, as Valokuitunen once again joining the rush, gets tripped up that, ooh, not a penalty shot. It was very close, but a power play coming up for Strikers.
Yeah, it's safe to say that is a very good trip there for Domi, because I'd love to see the replays in. I have to be honest, I think that probably could have been a penalty shot. I think Valokuitunen and Esports may have gotten away with one there, but nevertheless, Strikers on the power play, a team that's been pretty good on the power play so far this season, 38%. That's the highest mark in the league.
And another good face-off win for Eki to get things set up. Nasustelia creeps in, stops up, doesn't like what he sees, goes back. Eki working the top of the umbrella here. As that one, unfortunately, they can't get a shot away and it gets chipped out. I think that was Teemu thinking about giving chase right there. He decided against it. They get it right back in. Poinso looking for Tempinen right there. It gets deflected and slapped all the way down. That's unfortunate. There's been a couple close calls for Strikers, but their execution is just a little bit off right now. Poinso has it stripped away.
And give Valokuitunen the credit, because on a lot of those chances, they've had bodies in front and sticks in front to disrupt them.
One more clearance here, and that will do it for the man advantage as Domi comes back onto the ice. And we're back to 5-on-5, but Strikers still have possession of the puck. Looking for Poinso right there. The pass didn't work, and we have another power play coming up for Strikers. I think I saw, a bump by Benito, kind of in that neutral zone area. Will be an interference, so another Strikers power play here, Brandon.
Yeah, and ever since NHL 24 came out, I think we've seen more incidental interference penalties in really all the ECL divisions than we ever have. The new hitting mechanics have changed. When you're going for those battles, whether it's in front of the net or in the neutral zone, just trying to jockey for position, it's easy to accidentally take those penalties. Benito does there. Now Strikers with a second chance here on the power play.
Now Sustelia weaves away from trouble, gets back up top to Eki. Eki's pass over, gets blocked. Another shot right there, Valokuitunen loose in front. Poinso had one that got saved. Tempinen over to Poinso. Poinso looking for the far side, and Vincere makes a big glove save.
And we mentioned Vincere earlier, how good he has been since coming over to Valokuitunen Esports HRES last season, and you saw a little bit of that right there. Strikers with their best opportunities of the day so far. Vincere, Johnny on the spot, outreaching that glove to make that save.
Puanzo had it stripped away for a second, but he wins the race to the puck. Nasustelia back to Eki. Eki's shot gets blocked. Dempinen now in possession. Eki, his pass, nice positioning by Piku Roger, but he keeps it alive once again. Puanzo shot looking for the short side, goes off the shoulder, but Vincere was moving off that post.
Huge for Valokuitunen to dump that out because Strikers, they were buzzing there for a few minutes.
We are back to 5-on-5, but Strikers still hunting. Nasustelia shot deflection, scores! I believe that's Puanzo right there. Indeed, it is. Getting the opening goal on the game off the deflection.
How about that, Sin? Strikers pushing and pushing and pushing. They had Valokuitunen Esports in their own zone for a while because of the back-to-back penalties, and it just felt like sooner or later one of these two sides were going to have to break through. Strikers gave themselves a good chance, hemming them in the offensive zone, and sooner or later it ended up finding its way through. Didn't think it would be off a tip. That's the first time you've seen either team really go for one of those tip plays, but sure enough, Strikers goes for it. They get it to go, and that's our opening goal of the game right there.
Yeah, huge, and Strikers just gonna try to build off that momentum right here. As they get the possession off another face-off. Eki's been great in the dot so far. Dempinen sends it up. Great stop up by Puanzo. He just rips the slap shot on that goes wide. Stelia, I believe that was, tried to keep it alive down low. But it gets turned aside. Valokuitunen now in on the attack, and that's a nice attempt by Nicky Dangles right there. Unfortunately, put himself offside.
Yeah, and it feels like Valokuitunen Esports have not been in the offensive zone really this entire period, so unfortunate for them to see them not be able to get past that blue line cleanly, and they're not able to win the faceoff either, so once again, just not able to establish that offensive zone this period.
Eki looking to get that cycle going, his pass down low for Dempinen. Didn't reach his intended target. Piku Roger trying to feed the middle right here, but they do get the puck back, tried in front again, but taken away. Nasustelia now, 3-on-2 for Strikers. Over to Dempinen, his one-timer goes wide. Puanzo gets drilled in the corner there, and a miscommunication by Strikers, who's going for that loose puck, but their forecheck is true, and they keep things alive. Puanzo goes back to the point where Eki's waiting, has to be careful. The pressure, it's Piku Roger in alone, he scores! The flying poke check of Hanselinho could not take it away from the young phenom, and Piku Roger has tied this game.
And that's why he wears that gold helmet, and leads this team in points, leads the league in points and goals. That's his 39th season. And look at that there, that last-minute effort trying to dive to the ice there. I believe that was Eki after that turnover. Left Hanselinho all alone. We've seen him make some spectacular saves. One of the best goalies in the world versus one of the best goal scorers in the world. And the goal scorer, Piku Roger, got the better of him on that one. Knew that flying poke check was coming, got him on that forehand, and puts it in to tie this up.
And that's just a huge, huge play there for Valokuitunen, forcing the pressure at the point and getting an odd-man rush because of it, and now they're right back in on the attack. And as I say that, the errant pass, and Strikers have possession now. Nice pass up to Puanzo there. He's got some space, sends it over low! What a save by Vincere in the dying seconds of the second period.
Great play, better save there by Vincere. Thought Strikers had something good going there. A nice job passing that back. Thought maybe it was going to squeak by Vincere on that glove side, but he stayed well positionally to that left post and was able to make a big save for his team late in the period.
Shot, oh, another big save by Vincere. Eki got absolutely robbed on the backhand.
It feels weird hearing that, it feels weird saying that, but Eki absolutely just denied on that. A yawning cage looked like an easy goal for Strikers in the dying seconds of the period. Right there, Vincere, after he was sprawling on the ice, just slides over last minute to make that save. What a play, and those are the types of plays in that when this game ends up being close later, go back on that one. Look at it. Wide open net for Eki. He just isn't able to get the shot off in time. If he shoots it maybe a second earlier, it's a goal. just gives enough time for Finseri to make that huge save. And once again, if this game ends up tied late in the third, or if Valokuitunen ends up leading, that could be the save to bookmark and say that right there is what gave Valokuitunen that extra bit of advantage.
Yeah, that one just hurts to look at. I didn't even realize how far out of the net Finseri was initially either, and the fact that he's able to slide back at least halfway to get the pad on that. Little bit of luck, but that's some quick reactions coming out from Finseri to deny that one. That could have been a huge goal momentum-wise for Straikers, but they're going to have to do it the hard way. The hard way is that pass. Honestly, that looked like it nearly found the back of the net. Nasustelli now to Puanso, and Tempinen will gain the line. Good job speeding by the pressure of Domi. Eki just trying to throw a backhand on, see if he could catch Finseri off the post. They don't get it, and here come Valokuitunen. They are offside on the counterattack.
You know, we were talking about that massive save for Finseri. We didn't even get to talk about the stats, but Straikers, they have heavily outshot Valokuitunen and Esports in this game. 12-3 in favor of Straikers, despite there just being an 11-second difference between the two in time on attack. Eki has also dominated Benito on faceoffs here in this game. 10-2 there at the end of that period, and that lead just increased.
Uh-oh, Nicky Dangle's in alone now. I don't know if he was trying to do that. But as it's Nicky Dangles, I think he was. He tried to hop deke over Hanselinho.
I think he was anticipating that flying poke check once again from Hanselinho, just like he did on the Piku Roger breakaway. Unfortunately, didn't bet well there.
No, Hanselinho stayed true on that one and said to be careful with a loose puck right there as Valokuitunen nearly full pressure.
Yeah, they're awful close to it, but, you know, just kind of to talk about the mental side of this too, Sin, Hanselinho, we saw him go for that flying poke check earlier. I don't think he's going to do it again if he sees Nicky Dangles on the breakaway, just kind of knowing that he's willing to pull that out of his large bag of tricks. Just something to keep in mind as we get a look at the replay of it here. I think that's exactly what happened. I think Nicky Dangles was betting on him going for that flying poke check again, and unfortunately just wasn't correct in that assumption. But I like the creativity. I respect this. The last game of the finale, sometimes when you take those big risks, it pays off.
Absolutely, and, you know, it's... Nicky Dangles in a tied game would be the one in the ECL to try to pull that off as well. Just insane amount of swagger from that kid. Teemu's pass gets deflected and Valokuitunen will lose the zone, but they get that right back in. Benito along the half wall. Loose puck acted as a drop pass and Teemu has it. Pass along the wall. Good job of Valokuitunen working it high in the zone, but as they try to get it down low, it's snuffed out by Valokuitunen, and here comes Straikers. Puanso now. Good stop up on the half wall. Valokuitunen back down low. Puanso has it stripped away, and here come Valokuitunen. Pass over from Teemu goes back, and here comes Puanso. Won't have the space. Tries a one-touch deke. Well, that's good recovery defense coming out from Valokuitunen as Eki's pass gets intercepted. Eki now working his way through. He does find some space. Tries to peel in front of the net. Puanso's shot gets blocked. Benito has it knifed off his stick. Nicky Dangles will go offside as the neutral zone becoming more of a battleground here in the third.
And I think that's especially important considering what is on the line in this game. Remember, these two teams separated by 5 points in the standings, so the difference between a regulation win and an overtime win, massive here in terms of who takes that number one spot in terms of tiebreakers.
Beautiful move by Domi on the point to avoid the pressure. And a single shot that I believe was blocked, but now it's Straikers coming back the other way. Looking for a low shot is Tempinen. And down low, they keep that puck alive. He's looking for the short side. Finseri is there, and he'll smother it with 8:31 remaining.
You know, Straikers going to want to push the issue here. They know they have to win in regulation to keep their hopes for that number one seed alive. Finseri has denied them multiple times what have looked to be good opportunities. The question now is, can Valokuitunen hold on and try to use some of that zone time they've had to good use?
Another shot by Tempinen right there, gloved by Finseri.
Yeah, we've just seen Straikers love to put the puck on net whenever they have had that zone time. They've not been impatient by any stretch, but not hesitant either to go ahead and put that puck on net when they've seen a little bit of space and try to test Finseri and see if they can get a break like they did on that tip earlier.
Race for the puck right here. Nasustelia will win it. And Straikers looking to attack once again. Empinen trying to feed that one through, gets blocked. Nasustelia gets, I think that was a bump in the reason he stumbled. No trip, no call. Piku Roger takes that away, and here comes Nikki Dangles now for Valokuitunen. Over to Piku Roger. And nice one-touch pass by Nikki Dangles to keep that play alive in the offensive zone, but they can't get anything out off of it. Nice job by Benito to keep that clearance out. Oh, bouncing puck in the crease. Hits off the side of the net. Piku Roger, he's bumped along the half wall, and here comes Ponso back the other way. Feeds it to Eki. Eki now to Nasustelia joining the rush, but it's taken away 2-on-1. That's a huge defensive step up by Flyer Kunkin to stop the odd man rush. Tempinen now has it for Straikers. Eki, his shot denied by Finn Sete, and another whistle with just under 3 minutes to go.
And that's big because, as we mentioned, Valokuitunen Esports, by securing 1 point, would more than likely clinch that #1 spot in the ECL Elite Playoffs. So just something to keep in mind here as time starts to dwindle. So is the chances for Straikers to win this game and win that seeding.
Benito now over to Teemu. His long pass up is taken away by Flyer Kunkin, and now he's going to get back in on the attack. Puanso fed over to, oh, that's a blocked shot by Domi. Incredible positioning to disrupt that Eki shot. Tempinen shot from distance. That one's blocked. You see Straikers, they know the regulation win is important if they want a hope of passing these guys for the first seed. Flyer Kunkin shot. That one's blocked. Nikki Dangles now coming back the other way. And that's a trip right there. Straikers will have an opportunity. Eki gets through, powering his way. Eki backhand scores! What a play! An individual effort from Eki to give Straikers the lead late, and hopes alive to steal that 1 seed away from Valokuitunen.
And we've talked about the aggression of Valokuitunen and how they're willing to be able to put the body on. We even saw it the other day, Sid, against Tilteri, and it's Teemu, #3, that I want you to look at whenever we get that other replay. He pinched up just a little bit, trying to put the body on Eki. He gambled, he lost, it didn't pay off. It gave Eki that space to get that goal.
Oh, and nearly an immediate response from Valokuitunen, and another good chance on. I was just going to say, these two teams, it may be no time yet, but you cannot count either of them out. And Valokuitunen pulling the goalie, love to see it. They're trying to tie this game up.
Remember, they scored with less than 5 seconds a couple days ago.
Benito, he loses the puck. 4 seconds remaining. Teemu to Domi. Nikki Dangles looking, can't get the shot away. Looked for a pass. Time runs out. And Straikers hold on for a huge regulation win and a massive 3 points in the standings. They are now just 2 points behind Valokuitunen. If they win this next one in regulation, they will surpass them and secure that 1 seed.
How about that, Sin? I mean, stellar from Straikers. When you need a big play at the end of the game with everything on the line, who else would you want to have the puck on their stick other than Eki? He wears that gold helmet for a reason. He's one of the best in the world for a reason. You see it right there. He just snuck that backhand shot past Vincere to win his team the game. And an impressive stat here, Sin. That is only the 3rd regulation loss for Valokuitunen Esports in the month of May. That is how good they have been lately. It shows how tough it is to beat this team. And one of those losses was against Tunnel Vision. So Valokuitunen Esports, not an easy team to defeat. Funny enough, they lost both of those games 2-1 as well, as I'm looking at it right now. So this team, tough to beat, but yet Straikers come in down the stretch when they needed to get 3 points to keep their hopes alive for that #1 seed. They show up, make it happen, and now game #2, undoubtedly for the top spot in the elite standings. What more could you ask for than that?
I mean, we love drama here at SportsGamer. We're going to get plenty of that. Was looking at the stats. I missed the faceoffs. I know it was 12 for Straikers, and it looked like quite a low number for Valokuitunen. I'm not too sure if you were able to catch that, but nonetheless, terrific game. I love the mentality for Straikers. They didn't hesitate to shoot the puck, and they were averaging over 2 shots per minute of time on attack, while Valokuitunen had just the 1 shot, and that has seemed to be sort of a departure from how they've played before against some of these other teams. They were looking for quality over quantity and only getting that 1 goal. I think they might have to adopt a little bit of that striker strategy.
Yeah, and I think that's the one maybe critique that you could say about Valokuitunen and Esports is that they have had some times where they've been a little bit too hesitant, I think, to put the puck on net. They love to pass it around and look for that one grand opportunity. But when you have a team like Straikers that are really able to shut that down a little bit quicker than maybe some other teams are, I think you do have to put more of an emphasis on just putting that puck on net when you do have the time and space. I mean, you remember the first goal the Straikers got, it was just them shooting the puck and getting a tip in front. So you never know what could happen when you get the puck into those high danger areas. You might get a good bounce. You might get a tip if you have someone in position. By the way, Sin, I did catch that face-off stat. It ended up being 12-10 in favor of Straikers, and that was after it was 10-2 Valokuitunen after 2 periods. So a good job from Benito. If I'm correct, that's a 8-2 advantage in the third period alone for Benito.
Huge,
so
yeah.
Nice job from him kind of catching on to something that Eki was doing there in that face-off dot. So just one more extra thing to keep an eye on here as we go into game number 2.
Absolutely. And we'll set the stage for game number 2 after a brief break and a word from our sponsors.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, we are back here and just a few moments away from game number 2 between Valokuitunen Esports and Straikers, and what a game one it was. A 2-1 final score, but action-packed from start to finish.
Yeah, I mean, just everything that you would expect out of a Straikers versus Valokuitunen Esports matchup. Great offensive opportunities, but better defense denying those opportunities. Even grander chances that look like they're going to be goals, and then the goaltending coming up big and making a save that you just don't understand how they were able to make happen. We saw a little bit of everything, and then a one-goal game that decided. I mean, again, just the stereotypical Straikers versus Valokuitunen Esports matchup. Straikers wins the first one, and now they have a chance to clinch that #1 spot with another regulation win. But you know Valokuitunen Esports, not a team that goes down lightly. They always respond well. They're going to have to one more time. They want to be the #1 team in the playoffs.
And they're looking to get started early here on the off of the face-off. They tried a saucer pass up the middle. That didn't work. Teemu bumped off the puck, but a good retrieval there by Benito. They'll have to chip that one in as they were offside. So now Straikers in possession. Eki has that poked away. He's probably going to think twice about making any high zone moves after coughing up that puck that led to the Valokuitunen goal in the last game. But of course, he's the one who gets the game winner as well. So you expect that from Eki. He won't let a mistake sit for too long. Benito now, his shot. Trying to test Hanselinho on the short side, and I do like seeing that from Valokuitunen. They seemed hesitant to shoot the puck in the last one. Here they're starting off early. Nicky Dangles back up top. Domi evading the pressure of Puanso. Now kicks it over to Benito. Valokuitunen establishing their cycle. Nicky Dangles skates up top. Teemu has it. And Benito's pass goes awry, so they get a lot more zone time there, and that time they don't get a shot away. As that was Nasustelli on the rush, just sending that one in deep to the zone. But Valokuitunen has it once more. Nicky Dangles' pass from the half wall gets disrupted. They're looking to retrieve that puck, but a good job by Straikers to take it away. Valokuitunen now over to Nasustelli. He slows up and will reset for his team. Straikers will look once more to gain entry. Good pass to Eki, loose puck, and now Piku Roger has it. Spin pass, shot on by Teemu, and he's stopped by Hanselinho.
How about the creative playmaking there from Piku Roger, the spin move to turn it into a great pass and an even better opportunity. Just so hard to break past Hanselinho, however, making that big save.
And I like the defense. I think that was Nasustelli back there, if not Valokuitunen, just kind of doing the LB or the L1 in this case, just to try to block that passing lane. It forced out some creativity from Piku Roger. He now has possession of the puck for Valokuitunen, stops along the half wall, gets poked away. And here comes Tempinen back the other way for Straikers. Gaining the line. Nice poke by Teemu, though, and we're coming back the other way. Big hit in the neutral zone right there. May have led to an injury. We'll have to see how Piku Roger's going to be holding up, but that's a huge, huge collision. Oh, excuse me, that's Teemu. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, that's a big hit, and I think that might be even worse because remember, Teemu back at that right defense spot, he's going to be defending over on Puanso's side, who has a good bit of speed. We've seen Puanso get in on those high danger opportunities by just flying up those left boards, so something to keep an eye on there if Straikers gets a quick breakout and they put the puck his way.
Nice saucer pass by Nasustelli, and Puanso takes it into the corner. Valokuitunen now along the point. His shot from distance gets blocked, and here comes Nicky Dangles back the other way for Valokuitunen. Piku Roger. Nice catch play right there by the defensive Valokuitunen. That is a precision play that they pulled off and made it look easy. Benito's pass, unfortunately, skitters through everyone, and Valokuitunen have to reset once more. Nicky Dangles over to Piku Roger. His shot goes wide. Had some space on that blocker side. Shot. Saved. Another shot saved. And Hanselinho having to be a bit more busy here in the latter stages of the first period. Puanso goes down low. Eki now surveying his options. Flyer Kunga doing the same. Nasustelia's shot gets blocked, but he retrieves the loose puck. Over to Puanso. Puanso's shot! Blocker saved by Finsete. Valokuitunen eventually get that loose puck. Pass up to Teemu. It gets blocked. And the loose puck will skitter all the way back, forcing Valokuitunen to reset. Benito now gaining the line. Nice poke right there as both these two teams trying to slow up in the high zone, and both defenses kind of catching on to it and being able to get some sticks in lane. Shot right there from the point. And that one skittered just wide after hitting some bodies in front, and Hanselinho was sprawled out. Speed now for Puanso. Eki has it back. Oh, a nice shot and a good save right there by Finsete. That pass went to about the third person I expected it to go to, but that is the magic of Eki.
Yeah, and with 8.8 seconds left, an icing call and a chance here for Straikers to maybe get one or two more chances here on the offensive end. But since something I'm hoping that people watching are appreciating how tough it is to really create the space, the offensive plays we're seeing with tight defense on the other end is astounding.
One-timer from Tempinen right there. Gloved by Finsete. Will have another face-off for 5.3.
Let's see what Straikers can draw up here. Not a lot of time, but if you win that face-off cleanly, which we saw Eki get on a roll earlier at the dot, could get a good chance here.
One into the corner, and that will do it for the first period here. So scoreless, a little bit less shots, but both teams trying to tighten up on the defensive side, and we're going to get a chance to see Eki laying that massive hit again on Teemu.
Yeah, and you know, again, just time and space is a premium right now because there's not much of it. Both of these two sides are just locking things down defensively. It's just so tough really to be able to find your way to those high-end opportunities, and it feels like every time one of these two offenses do, the goaltender steps up and robs them of what looks like it will be a goal. So that is why these games are always so tight between one another. You typically don't see more than 3 or 4 goals between them, and in this game, you're not seeing more than 4 or 5 shots right now between them, each side with 3 shots in total, and the time and attack a heavy advantage for Valokuitunen in Esports, but yet again, not seeing them put the puck on that much, and when they have tried to, Straikers have done a good job of getting in front of lanes and not really allowing Hanselinho to see a really high-end opportunity. So defense and goaltending, the story of this one so far, I think again, similar to game 1, it's just going to be a matter of who is able to take advantage of those opportunities when they do get them.
Yep, that's what it's going to come down to. Conversion and execution here, as you said it. Time and space at a premium. We'll see just what happens here. And yeah, as you said, I would love to see Valokuitunen just start pulling the trigger more. They're doing the same thing that they did last game, and, you know, it didn't quite work. They didn't pick up the win. And while it's an okay strategy, and while they do have the skill to pull it off, does it get to the point of where you're maybe underestimating your opponent? Time will tell as they try to gain the blue line right there and get bumped off. Piku Roger will reset it to his defenseman. And Teemu now goes offside as Valokuitunen now. A couple miscommunications as they try to gain the blue line.
Yeah, and you know, so I do think you bring up a really good point with Valokuitunen in Esports, is that does it come to a point where you are underestimating your opponent a little bit? And something to point out is that this has been a group that has always been very, very confident. They keep themselves to a high standard. It doesn't lean on the side too much of arrogance more times than not, but they are a very confident group that believes in their game and believes in their strategy. They're willing to adjust, but obviously, so far, they don't want to go too far away from it. They continue to do the same thing despite Straikers seeming to pretty much have the answers for what they are looking for offensively. I mean, outside of that one breakaway that was created on the turnover by Eki, we haven't really seen Valokuitunen in Esports get a lot of offensive chances, and I think that you would just kind of want to prioritize putting on more volume to hope that you can maybe get a bounce your way, considering this is tied and you do have that #1 seed on the line in this game.
Puanso drops it back. Nasustelli, a nice cycle game early on here. Straikers. Puanso looking for the wraparound. And we're going to have a penalty here. Straikers, I didn't see the infraction, but it's a trip by Puanso. And Valokuitunen going to be heading to the power play.
Yeah, that's interesting. I didn't catch that one either, so I'm gonna be interested to see the replay here.
Right
Yeah,
there.
it was just on the end of that puck possession there, and this is a Valokuitunen team, 30% on the power play, while Straikers a little bit over 82 or 84% rather on the PK. So two of the top teams in the league in those respective categories. So going to be interesting to see who gets the advantage.
Face-off won by Strikers, but they can't clear the zone. Oh, what a save by Hanselinho! That pass made it through. Piku Roger got the shot away, and Hanselinho robbed him. Piku Roger, another low shot, looking for the rebound, trying just for jam plays here, and once again, Strikers fail to clear the zone. Benito in front, taken away. Dempinen finally gets that one out, and Strikers can breathe.
And boy, that they needed. Valokuitunen was knocking, not even just knocking, pounding on the door of a goal.
But here comes a counterattack. Dempinen with some space. Man on his back. His shot. Oh, good save by Vincere. And now a counterattack for Valokuitunen. 4-on-2. Teemu drops to Benito, and he has it poked aside.
5-on-5 now.
Yeah, 5-on-5. And along the wall, Domi does keep that one down low. Benito now into the corner behind the net. Passed up to Teemu. Domi, the D-to-D one-timer, gets blocked. And Strikers, Dempinen just powers his way through. His pass to Puanzo doesn't go, but Puanzo has it now off the loose puck. Self-pass off the wall. As he plays catch with Nasu Stelia, he has it right back. Excuse me, that's Flyer Kungen on that side, I believe. As the defensemen have swapped positions. Excuse me, Eki on the point. Man, I hate that yellow, orange, brown, or whatever that combo is. It's so hard to tell who's who.
Yeah, all the colors in the world that EA could have chosen, and they decided to go with this yellow, orange, brown, which is funny because that brown is supposed to be, or that orange is supposed to be a counterpart of teal, and that really doesn't make sense to me, but nevertheless, it looks like Nasu Stelia and Flyer Kungen did switch sides there, so good catch on your part.
Dempinen now has it poked away. Flyer Kungen will have to reset, trying to just chip that one in, and that one didn't go. Domi joining the rush. Nicky Dangle to Teemu. His shot hits something and it flies into the corner. Puanzo, nice little play right there. The saucer pass to him. He tried to just a stop play and hit Eki with speed, but couldn't execute on it. Good forecheck though. Eki will get that puck. Dempinen thought about passing to Puanzo there, but opted away from it. Shot right there. Deflection by Puanzo. This time it doesn't go. Here comes Domi, backdoor there for Valokuitunen. His pass to the middle, nearly skidded in off the loose puck, but Strikers now on the counterattack. Eki slows up, waits for help. Low shot, looking for the rebound, but it's sticked away by Vincere. Nicky dangles now over to Domi. Switches with his defensive partner. Piku Roger in the corner, back up top. Valokuitunen still looking for that A-grade opportunity, but they turn it over. And Strikers are going to be able to clear the zone, and that's more zone time down the drain for Valokuitunen. Oh, big hit right there. Nicky Dangles creates the turnover. He'll send that one down low, Piku Roger. Now Nicky Dangles back in possession. Domi up top. Taking his time, surveying his option. Pass in front right there. They can't connect once again. Benito is waiting on the back door. He sends it low to Piku Roger. Nicky Dangles in front, but he's hounded by two defensemen and can't get a clean shot away. Counterattack now. Nasu Stelia. I don't think that's who he wanted to pass to. I think he wanted Puanzo, but he didn't hit him. Puck sent all the way around. 10 seconds remaining here. Dempinen just trying to chip that one out. Eki's pass goes to Puanzo. A little bit of time left. That one sailed wide. Another shot blocked. And that will do it for the second period. Still scoreless, but plenty of action once again between these two teams.
Yeah, I think this might be one of the most entertaining scoreless affairs that you will find. 0-0, but no shortage of opportunities, no short of great defensive play, and no shortage of massive saves to pretty much rob their opponent of goals. And I mean, you see it right there. The shot totals aren't that high. I mean, Strikers haven't been in the offensive zone that much compared to Valokuitunen, yet they have 6 shots. And again, Sin, I know we keep hounding on it, but you just would love to see Valokuitunen put the puck on net more. I know Strikers have done a good job of denying the easy shooting lane, but you have to assume that there are some opportunities with 8 minutes of time in attack to have more than 5 shots on net. So I can respect the patient game, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to assume that that first goal of the game is going to be at a high value, and you just don't give yourself that opportunity if you don't put the puck on net more.
Yeah, you know, the patient game can work by spreading things out, but when you have a Strikers team there, that's actually giving them the time to get into those shooting lanes and those passing lanes, and that's what we've seen so far. We'll see if Valokuitunen can flip the script here. Because again, if Strikers win this game in regulation, they will secure that 1 seed. Oh no! Well, it's not a shot, but it's a puck on net. Benito gets credit for it. And what a rough start to the third period if you're Strikers.
Yeah, and you know, I have to be honest, it kind of does suck to see it go in that way with how great these two sides have been. But, I mean, hey, nevertheless, Valokuitunen, they get that first goal. We were just talking about how that first goal was going to be at a high value. Valokuitunen all of a sudden find themselves with it. So for them to be up 1-0, knowing what's on the line, huge for them. And the question is how the Strikers find their way to respond to it, knowing how that goal went in, and with Valokuitunen now having a little bit of that momentum on their side just 2 minutes into this final frame.
Yeah, now Strikers going to have to be the ones to force the issue right here. Nice poke check right there, but no one was quite ready to pounce on that loose puck. Domi will collect it in the corner, get it up to Piku Roger, and here come Valokuitunen. Pass off to Teemu. He joins the rush with speed, takes it in down low, gets it poked off his stick. Poinso coming back the other way. He'll hit Flyer Kungen, but get that puck right back. Tempinen now down low, over to Poinso. Tempinen, loose puck, and he tries to shovel that one on, but Finsette's there to make the save.
Once again, I think you're just kind of seeing the offensive difference between Strikers and Valokuitunen. The minute Strikers get into the offensive zone, they are looking to try to find a way to put that puck near Finsette, while Valokuitunen playing the more steady and patient game, just waiting for that high danger chance.
Loose puck right there. Poinso couldn't quite pull the trigger. Tempinen shot it at first. It was blocked. Went right to Poinso's stick, but he couldn't quite pull the trigger.
And give Valokuitunen some credit defensively. They've done a great job of clogging the lanes, not giving Strikers an easy lane to try to get a shot clean on Finsette.
Clean face-off win, but it splits the defense, so Strikers will lose the zone. Flyer Kungen collects it. Nice saucer pass off the wall to Tempinen. He'll pass it back to the point. Nasustelia, now Flyer Kungen. He gets it to Eki. Eki to Tempinen. What a play right there, but a better save by Finsette. Eki has it again. Tempinen now to Poinso. Getting the low cycle established. Tempinen tries to come out front and get a backhand on, but he gets bodied. And here comes Valokuitunen back the other way. Piku Roger, his shot blockered aside by Hanselinho.
Great job from Hanselinho, staying in position. So easy sometimes for goalies to cheat for that pass. He stayed close to that post and made that save because of it.
Valokuitunen trying to get a down low cycle of their own, race for the puck. That's a good job by Domi. You see him just kind of trying to block Tempinen there as best as he could. He slowed him down enough for his defensive partner to get that puck. But Strikers coming back once again. Nasustelia now feeds Eki. Eki stops on the half wall. Nasustelia, definitely a big collapse coming from Valokuitunen. You see Strikers looking to try to spread it out. And they can't find an opening quite yet. Flyer Kungen evading some pressure. Nasustelia shot! That one saved. Oh, looking for the short side. It was there, but they couldn't get the pass through. Piku Roger sent down low. Benito now in front. Oh, what a save by Hanselinho. It's Skinner just wide of the post as he got just enough pad on it to keep it out. Counterattack now for Strikers. Time winding down. Sub 7 minutes left in this third period, but Valokuitunen can't get the puck out. Flyer Kungen to Poinso. His shot gets blocked. And a feed in front goes to Finsette, who will smother it.
And something that I want to remind everyone watching, you have to remember it has to be a regulation win for Strikers to get a victory. It's a 3-point difference in the standings, so it means that it's going to have to be a victory in regulation for Strikers if they do want to take that advantage. 2 points not going to be enough, considering they would only get a 1-point advantage if they were to win in overtime. So they're going to have to find 2 goals in 5 minutes here if they want to take that number 1 spot. Otherwise, Valokuitunen clinches it.
Benito now in possession. Gets shoved off, and Strikers have it, attacking with numbers. Nasu Stelia, everyone jumping into the mix now. Gets it down low to Eki. Eki now to Puanso. Tempinen. He's trying to pass that to the middle, but it's just no space there, as that's where Valokuitunen's going to defend. It's Strikers hard pressed to get anything going. Piku Roger with some space, looking for the backhand, but like that hit off the side of the net. But time, a huge factor now. Big shot right there. Hanselino keeping it alive, but that's a turnover. Has to be careful. Tempinen will get it and skate it out of danger. Pass over to Flyer Kungen. Eki, shot, loose in front. Puanso gets it. Eki now behind the net. Can't get it away, but good forecheck there by Puanso to keep it alive. Eki still in possession, fighting for it. Back to the point. One-timer, blocked in front, or excuse me, saved off the blocker. Valokuitunen do get it out, and Piku Roger gonna have some time, some space. He tries the hop deke too. Unbelievable. He fails to capitalize. Strikers coming back the other way. Goalie pulled. Puanso gets it over to Flyer Kungen. Flyer Kungen looking for the shot. Puanso trying to feed that one. Chipped out. And that will do it. Valokuitunen get a late one. Nicky Dangles on the empty net. But they will secure the victory, and the game-winning goal will be a bouncing, trickling puck, and you hate to see it.
Yeah, you know, good for Valokuitunen. They've played so strong throughout the season, so a well-deserved clinching of the 1 seed for them. But, I mean, I do have to be honest, and I think it is tough to kind of see this game in the way it is. It probably feels like we should be seeing a 0-0 game going into overtime here, which would have clinched Valokuitunen that number 1 seed regardless. So just to be clear there, that the regulation win wouldn't have had much bearing unless it was Strikers that got it. But you just kind of hate to see a game between these 2 teams end that way, especially considering how tightly contested it was. But, you know, Valokuitunen and Esports, they earned a shutout. It takes more than just 1 goal. They played well defensively. They denied Strikers of a lot of chances that they had. And how about Finseri in net? The saves that he was able to make back there throughout the series, absolutely phenomenal. So, sure, the game winner, maybe not the prettiest goal. It wasn't even a shot on net technically, but nevertheless, Valokuitunen, carried by their defensive play and their goaltending and their ability to kind of take away from Strikers the chances they had, carries them through in this game. And you see right there, that was the game winner. A weird bounce and that poke check there from Benito to get it across the line gives Valokuitunen the victory. And maybe they were listening to us in 14 shots there after they had just 5 through the first 2 periods. So 9 more shots on them the third period alone. And it looked like they had a little bit more success offensively there in that third too. So maybe they were listening to us a little bit. I don't know how much they tune in, but hey, there we go.
Yeah, we'll pretend to take a little bit of the credit for that, of course. But that was, again, a high-stakes matchup there for seeding. Seeding can be very, very important, but both these 2 teams very firmly in the playoff picture, quite obviously. It should be the 1 and 2 seed, if I'm not mistaken, just based on the points that they were both able to get here. But that will do it for our first matchup. We do have 1 more, so guys, don't go anywhere. We will be back to set the stage for our second matchup of the day, just after these messages from our sponsors.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, welcome back to our ECL Elite coverage here. We concluded the series between Valokuitunen and Straikers. That was a split, both teams getting a win in regulation. And our final our final matchup of the regular season, Purification taking on Renascore. As I believe Brandon might be having some mic issues, so But yeah, both of these two teams, it's, as we saw in the standings, playoff implications, it's mostly locked in by this point.
Yeah, and sorry there for the mic issues there, Sin. Thank you for pointing that out. And, Purification, not in the playoffs, unfortunately, in that no man's land, Unwanted, being in clinching after a season that they have had their second straight season in the playoffs, as a matter of fact. So these two teams in different positions, but both very good. We're going to see a lot of good talent on the ice. Two of the teams that have really been in that competitive thick of it really all season long, from 5 all the way down to around 12. So this is going to be a very balanced and well-even matchup. I'm looking forward to it, especially considering that Unwanted does have some playoff positioning that could potentially be on the line for them here today.
Absolutely. So we'll check out what the lineups, or excuse me, not the lineups, the matchups of this team are looking like, and how they kind of go up head to head here. And you can see both of them negative goal differential, of course. Renascor being a team coming up from that pro division, it can be a tough adjustment, going from pro to elite, and you're seeing it right here in the numbers.
Yeah, and Purification, we got to look at them yesterday during the broadcast, dropped one and won one, and just to, clear things up, they are playing Unwanted, not Renascor, just a bit of a technical issue there. So it is Unwanted that they are playing. They played Renascor yesterday and split in those 2 games. But nevertheless, this is a team in Unwanted that they're going to have their work cut out for them. We saw Purification yesterday. They're a team that can really dominate puck possession when they get that time and attack. They love to cycle that puck around, have a lot of threats that can put the puck in the net when they do get those set plays going. So it'll be interesting to see how Unwanted kind of counter that, especially considering, like we said, these two teams very, very even, the same exact amount of goals against. Only just the goals for it has been the big difference between them.
Yeah, absolutely. So, again, we're going to we apologize for that visual glitch. I'm just here making sure I still have all the right information. But yeah, we'll flip it over now to the lineups, which we should have on file at least. So we'll be able to check out who's going up for each team. On the side of Purification, it is Zuppe, Ropatas, and Alpha Boreas on that front end. Wickman and Bistrom on the back end, and Scumbo in between the pipes. And on the side of Unwanted, it is Henka, Suth, and Laune on that right wing side. And on the defensive end, Snus and Kesari, with Carlson in between the pipes. So we'll check out the head-to-heads now, as Suth and Robotus are the centermen, and we'll see how they line up next to each other. And Brandon, what stands out to you?
Firstly, 2 very experienced players in Robotus and Suf, 2 guys that have been around for a long time, especially at the elite level. So it's going to be a lot of fun just to kind of see how things go between them. But I think the other thing that really stands out to me is, again, just the difference in points. 49 points for Suf compared to just 32 for Robotus. We talked about how the goals for difference between these two teams is rather wide. I think you're really seeing that there between these 2 players down the middle, with Suf really having an advantage. 17 points is the advantage for him in that points category. And then also the face-off percentage, very even there, both a bit under 50%, but nevertheless, we see all the time how that battle at the face-off dot can really play a factor in terms of puck possession and being able to control that time of attack. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes here in this one between these 2.
And we'll take a look now at the winger comparisons between these 2 squads as well. And you can kind of see, where some of the struggles have come from for the Purification squad. They just haven't been getting enough production.
Yeah, and that's really the story, I think, for Purification this season. And this is a Purification, a team that you have to remember did come up from the pro division, as you mentioned, Sin, and it takes some time sometimes to adjust to that elite level defense to try to find your way a little bit offensively. So for Purification, I think that's the one thing they're going to be taking from this season, is that now they know what it takes to beat defenses in this division, to beat goaltending in this division. But an Unwanted team on the other end that's been around for a few seasons and has kind of figured that out. They made the playoffs last season in their debut elite season. They made it again this year. And you're seeing the offense for them really did improve compared to last season as well. And you're seeing that in the numbers. Both of their wingers with over 20 goals and 20 assists, and neither even over 100 shots. So when they do shoot the puck, they've been efficient with it as well.
Definitely. And, we'll see what that shooting, differential is going to pan out. We'll see if Purification want to pull that trigger a bit more, but we'll take a look now at the defensive pairings both these two squads. And once again, seeing some point differential. Obviously, Wickman stepping in here for the first time this season, I do believe, as he has 0 games played. But on the side, K-City has been really, really good for that Unwanted squad.
Yeah, he has been so solid, and he's been doing it in a lot of different ways. 33 points in 28 games, has 5 goals as well, so he's contributed offensively, 122 hits, so he's been able to throw the body around, and you see the stat that really stands out to me, 38 shots blocked so far this season, so he's getting in front of shooting lanes, and that's going to be something big to look out for, because as we mentioned, Purification, if there's been one thing that they have struggled with this season, it's been maintaining that offensive production. You could probably kind of tag that as the reason that they aren't in the top 8, just being a few points outside of it. You find a few more goals in some of these games, they probably are around where the Blackjacks are in that 7th or 8th spot. So it just kind of goes to show you that when you are able to produce, that could be a massive thing. And something that kind of stifles that production is when you have a team that can block shots. Both Bikisardi and Snus able to do that so far this season. It's going to be interesting to see if that plays a factor here in these 2 games.
The last matchup that we have, of course, the men between the pipes here, the goaltenders between Scumble and Carlson there. And the numbers are actually quite close between the pair of them. Good numbers.
Yeah, very good numbers, and this is going to be a lot of fun. We saw Scumbo yesterday, and he was outstanding in the 2 games against Rennescore, and Carlson Adam, I mean, an 86 save percentage of the 24 games played. It feels like every single season since these goalies are just making those save percentages higher and higher and higher. I remember 2 or 3 years ago, we were saying, man, if you got a goalie over an 80 save percentage, you're doing darn good. It feels like now that standard is almost 82 or 83% away a lot of these goalies are playing. And, Carlson Adams, something to remember, he played for Purification last season in the pro division, had an 85.81 save percentage there. So right around that save percentage here in the Elite Division with this Unwanted squad. So he knows Purification very, very well, playing his former team. It'll be very fun to see how he matches up against them. Always cool to see goalies go up against their former squads to see what they know and what their opponent knows about them that they can maybe try and take advantage of.
Yeah, absolutely. And shout out to the Marvin the Martian hat. Loving the style choice right there by Carlson. So hopefully we are just a few moments away from puck drop here, and we do have the word that they are indeed searching, so we will be able to get this matchup underway very, very soon. But I mean, this, again, not the biggest playoff implications and stuff at the tail end of the season, but and here in the ECL, we always say it, there's always something to play for. You want to stay out of those potential relegation positions, secure your spot in Elite without having to fight for it in one of those relegation series.
Yeah, and I think for that for Purification, that especially rings true. I'm actually looking at the standings right now, and Unwanted currently at the 6th spot. They could pass Bjorklov and Esports if they were to get at least 4 points. I'm not sure if they'd have the tiebreaker or not. It'd be 4 to tie. Anything more would get them firmly into that number 5 spot. Could potentially go as high as 4, but unlikely. So you do see the standings right there. So we'll see what happens with Totorit. They're at that 28th spot. It looks like Tunnel Vision actually played a game and dropped it in overtime. So big news actually right there, Sin, for some of the other games that are going on. That was actually Vesa Pampa that took that extra point as well. So looks like now they're going to have to win all of their last 3 games in regulation to at least tie the Blackjacks. So good news for the Blackjacks if Vesa Pampa didn't win that game in regulation. But you kind of see a quick look at the standings there. Unwanted able to move their way up. Purification kind of stuck in no man's land, not able to go down, but they could potentially go up to 9th, which, I mean, hey, it looks better to be in 9th rather than 10th. You were the last team to be out of the playoffs, so it's better luck than being in 10th if you were to say you just missed compared to being in 10th, I guess, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And, for Purification, we mentioned it here, mathematically, even if they win both games in regulation, they will still be on the outside looking in. But for Unwanted, they are secured. They are in the playoffs here. But again, if it comes down to seedings there, playing for a potential Totorit may look a bit better than playing Tunnel Vision for Unwanted. So they're going to want to get some points here in this matchup for sure.
Yeah, and once again, the crazy thing about that is you have to remember Tunnel Vision, who did just lose in overtime, it looks like they only have 1 more game left. The max they can get is 58 points. So depending on what happens with Totorit, Unwanted, they're probably the most unsure on who they're going to be playing here. They could end up as high as the 4 seed or as low as potentially the 7, depending on X's games. So you could end up playing anyone from Bjorklöven to having to play Strikers. And, you know, Bjorklöven is a great team in their own right, but I would definitely want to avoid that Strikers matchup if at all possible. So a lot here on the line for Unwanted, the best that they could possibly get in terms of seeding. You want to try to get here if you can, as it looks like we did have a short little ad break there, but best to get it out of the way now rather than have it in the middle of the game. So
at least it's in the beginning. So whoever stream we're using, running those ads, trying to get that extra cheddar. I respect the hustle, but don't. Let us see some gameplay at the same time. But yeah, we'll get through that in the game. Just about ready to go. Puck drop a couple seconds away at this point. We might be able to catch that at the tail end of that ad break. But yeah, as we said, I mean, huge games for Unwanted. For Purification, more moral victory than anything else. You've got to keep yourself in this elite division. But if you're Unwanted, you got to be licking your chops right here, trying to get that higher seeding. You lock in that 5 spot. That's a heck of a better first round matchup for you.
Yeah, and I think that the big thing here for Unwanted as well is that they want to just try to get themselves in good form because they're 4-5-1 in the last 10 games, and you know the last thing you want heading into
absolutely right at the tail end of the ad break, we get kicked back in to see Sooth scoring a goal for Unwanted, I believe, and that's just a pretty massive start right there off of the deflection. And a rebound in front that he cleans up.
Yeah, and you know, I was just going to say, Unwanted, you know, being 4-5-1 their last 10, the last thing you want is to be in bad form heading into the playoffs. But hey, that's a good way to start. Getting a goal just less than 4 minutes in. Good start there for Unwanted here, as you mentioned, Sid, battling for playoff positioning that could be important. Good way to start there, getting that early goal.
Robotus wins the face-off there. As a Beastrom in possession, gets over his defensive partner, Wickman. Looking to gain the line right there, but an offside. It's Purification trying to find some response.
Yeah, and that's always such a tough thing to do when you allow a goal that early on in the contest to try to punch your way back to get that quick response, because you don't want that momentum to kind of tie it against you early, especially if Unwanted were to find a second goal to back it up.
Chaos in the neutral zone. Snus came away with it momentarily. Good pass up. Sooth will get that one in deep. Trying to get to work right there, but Robotus will be able to work that one out. Poirier in possession. Robotus has it. Pass ringed all the way around the boards, and once again, Purification going to be forced to reset here. But taken away immediately. When they come back to it, I believe it's the defenseman jumping up into the play in case that he couldn't quite get the clean shot away, but crazy counterattack presence from Unwanted here. Robotus shot from distance. Carlson will make the save and smother it.
Yeah, that was Casey that jumped in on that play, and really sneaky there. Not often that you see the defender be able to jump in and get a really good chance like that. Give a lot of credit there for the save, but nevertheless, I gotta be honest with you, Purification starting to get something going here, and I think that's exactly what you want to see if you are them. Try to find your way to get that momentum back. You already saw Unwanted almost got a second when you're on that breakaway, so don't waste any time. Try to get that momentum on your side here.
Beastrom on the point. One-timer attempt right there. Can't quite connect on it, and coming back the other way. Sooth gets bodied along the blue line, turns it over, and Robotus has it in possession. They look to work it out. Poirier sent it up. A shot right there from Zupe. And miscommunication right there. Coming back, Launane had it. He has it again. His shot on. Gets stopped. And counterattack. That's a big burst of speed right there, but bumped from behind is Zupe. And now counterattack coming on the side of Unwanted. Henka over. What a shave right there by Scumbo. Keeping this just a 1-goal game as we have an offside coming back.
We talked about Scumbo, how he has been just phenomenal really all season long. We saw it a little bit yesterday in the series against Reniscore. He would step up and make a lot of big saves. That's one right there against an unwanted team. And as you mentioned, very, very hungry to get points. He's going to have to step up like that more. Does it again, win another save.
Yeah, great save right there off of the rebound. Now Purification trying to come back the other way. Eastern's pass goes awry, and Unwanted in possession once again. Laune. Pass over right there, looking for either Snuss or his winger partner. They can't connect. He has it behind the net now. Laune, wrap chance right there off of the loose puck. Pretty tricky, but once again, Carlson has been up to the task of making these saves.
Yeah, how about Unwanted when they're in the offensive zone? It just feels they are pouncing whenever they break in past that blue line. It's shot after shot after shot. I mean, Scumbo, he's had to have made probably at least 5 or 6 saves in this period alone so far.
Yeah, absolutely. He's really had to be sharp on that Purification side as now Carlson under a little bit of pressure as Purification hounding, trying to get some shots away, but cleaned up. Smith in possession. Sith will gain the line. Good job by Henke just delaying. Sith in front looking for Henke once again. They can't connect. Sith now to Henke. He gets bodied from behind. 8 seconds remaining. One more counterattack chance. Zupe has it. His shot on. And that will do it for the first period. So an early goal on the side of Unwanted. Some action-packed happenings in the latter half of the period, but we remain 1-0.
Yeah, and Purification, I think, probably feeling rather good that it is just 1-0, considering how many opportunities that Unwanted were able to earn themselves. Scumbo, absolutely stellar in that, just denying Unwanted of a few different opportunities in this game. But I think the question again here, as we talked about Purification, a team that has struggled a little bit to find consistent offensive production. How can they do so? Because the time of attack is not that big of a difference. 149 compared to 227 in favor of Unwanted. It's really what they've done with that time of attack that has been the big difference. As you mentioned, just 2 shots on net for Purification so far. Scumbo, he's already had to make 7 saves so far on 8 shots. So for Purification, how do you find your way to opportunities? Is it just putting the puck on net, trying to get that bounce? That is the question that they're going to have to answer here going into the second period, because it's been a big difference so far between these two teams.
And it's been a big difference for them throughout the season. As we pointed out when we were going up and down the lineup, you can see Purification just has struggled to score throughout the course. See if they're going to be able to have any better luck here in this second period. Zupe has the puck, trying to feed it to Bordier right there. Can't connect. Now Unwanted has it. Okay, so he passes up the Sook. Sook with some space. Passed over across, looking for the cross crease. Henke was in position, and the puck played out as Bistron passes it up. Bordier had it poked off of his stick. Excuse me, that was Zupe. And we'll have another offside.
Yeah, and I think that the second goal is really going to be of a massive importance here with the way that this game has trended. If Unwanted can find their way to getting it, I think it gives them an opportunity to pull away a little bit with the way that this game has kind of trended so far and the styles in which these two teams have played. While for Purification, if they can find their first goal, it can really give them that second breath of life, so to speak, to get themselves back in and get some momentum on their side.
Yeah, especially for a team that has struggled to score across the year. You get into that 2-goal hole with that cloud hanging over a view of, being able to not really get much offense. It can be difficult there. That's a nice shot on by Bordier there, but Carlson's able to smother it.
Yeah, we haven't had to call Carlson Adams' name too often here so far in this one, but once again, he's been stellar so far. An 86 save percentage coming into this one. That's one of the highest marks in the league. That's just another element for Purification that they have to battle. That you can get opportunities, but you have one of the best goalies in the division this season on the other side. You have to figure out how to crack.
That's a nice play by Purification to keep the play onside, but not able to get too much after that as Wanted trying to come right back. Good hit in the neutral zone. Suf will have it. Head of steam, trying to get the shot away. Loose in front. Suf once again looking for Henke there. Can't connect. Snuss on the point keeps it alive. Henke now in the corner. Dodges the hit. Looking for the pass in front. But Orbitus was right there to take it away. Zupe gets poked immediately after he crosses the line, and Unwanted coming back once again. Joining a rush right there. Was Casey. His pass went off the goaltender. Henka now. What a play! What a goal! A spin backhand beats Scumbo, and Unwanted have a 2-goal lead.
Man, put that one on the highlight reel. What a play there by Henka. Look at that. There just spins through, twirls it, puts it on backhand, and Scumbo just not able to make that save. He's been spectacular all day long, but just not able to get that one. And that's impressive because there was a lot of traffic there in front, it looked like, too. So for Henka to be able to put that one in, absolutely huge, not just for the flair of the goal, but as you mentioned, a massive second goal there for Unwanted, knowing how Purification has struggled there in the offensive unit.
Not only do those goals look good, but obviously they serve the purpose. You get that spin, you shoot at the end of it, it completely changes the angle of the shot right there. And big IQ play right there from Henka. Unwanted, not done yet. They're right back in case that he has that one poked away. Big pass up to Robitas. He has some time, he has some space, looking for the backdoor feed. Bistrom shot, he scores! Quick response from Purification as Bistrom gets one back to cut that deficit in half.
And the patience from Bistrom to get that goal, that one little move right there as he kind of back skates backwards a little bit, and it kind of afforded him that extra time to get the extra space, to get a good shot off. Carlson Adams just wasn't really ready for it and wasn't able to make the save, and that is a massive goal for Purification because, as we mentioned, Unwanted has a chance to pull away if they go up 2-0. Now, all of a sudden, Purification climbs their way back into this one and keeps it in striking distance. Big goal for them.
Purification looking to capitalize on some of the momentum right here. Poirier has it for them. Thought about feeding that one in front. Zuppe has it, looking for the short side. It gets blocked. Poirier fighting behind the net. Robitas a quick backhand on, and harder save for Carlson than he was perhaps expecting. Looking for the slap pass off the wall. Comes off the goal. Oh, the backhand, they score! It wasn't intended to be an Omaha play, but it turned out like that. Launanen gets the goal.
Yeah, it wasn't intended. It almost ended up being kind of a pseudo Omaha play a little bit there. Just beat him to the icing, and Launo just able to get there and get that shot on. I don't think that they were prepared for that was Purification. I don't think they thought that was going to turn out the way it did. Unwanted didn't think it was either, but they were ready for it before Purification was. Were able to find their way through it and get that third goal.
I mean, that is the way that all worked out. The miss pass initially turns into an Omaha, and then Henka whiffing on the puck. He'll call it a fake shot. I mean, he keeps swinging. He might give the goaltender a cold there, but that was a perfect, just a string of events there for Unwanted to give them that 2-goal lead back. Henka trying to feed that one in front. Smith on the point, takes it into the corner. Cycle game being started here by Unwanted. Swift with a nice intercept down the line, and his shot, what a save by Scumbo, and he'll play that out to keep it alive. Purification looking to counterattack quickly. Not a whole lot of speed right there for Zope as he received that puck, and immediately the counterattack is snuffed out. Henka gets it across the blue line, but not too much further. Bistrom has it now. Gaining the line momentarily was Poirier. And once again, a little bit of back and forth action now. Neither team able to sustain some pressure within the last couple minutes. Bistrom has it on the point now. Shot gets blocked. Poirier down low to Zuppe, trying a quick little give and go right there, but the defense of Unwanted all over that. Bistrom, though, good turnover in the neutral zone, attacking now with speed. He gets bumped off the puck by Snus. It should just about do it, but maybe one more chance. Launanen in tight, and he's stopped by Scumbo.
Boy, and Scumbo, that was really close. It looked like he was just holding on to that puck for it not to cross the red line. A nice little move, trying to get it backhand, but Scumbo right where he needed to be positioned to make that save.
Empty net here, but they can't win the face-off, so they're unable to get a play going, but Unwanted carrying a 2-goal lead into the third period, firmly in the driver's seat.
Firmly in the driver's seat, and Sid, we just got an update for Vesa Papa and Tunnel Vision. Any Blackjacks players or fans in here, congratulations. You guys are in the playoffs. Tunnel Vision beats Vesapampa by a 3-1 scoreline. Vesapampa now out of playoff contention, so the top 8 is clinched. The Blackjacks are the final team in, and now it's just a matter of playoff seeding. And one of those teams battling for seeding right now is Unwanted, Sid, and so far they look like they're battling for seeding as they've played really well. They've been sharp so far, have found their way to some offensive opportunities. Their goals maybe a little bit unconventional, but I think you have to give them some credit for the way that they have been able to attack offensively and put the puck on net. When you put that shot on net, you give yourself that opportunity to get a little bit of bounces to go your way. They've done that so far, and Purification is going to have to try to line up a response here going into the third.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. You know, a team coming into the day not averaging a ton of goals per game, but now's the time to try to flip some of the narratives on their head. Some pressure off your shoulders. You're pretty much secure. You are secured, I believe, to be in the elite next season. So just try to solve some of the issues here, as they do have possession now through the neutral zone. Rubatas does gain the line. Thought about passing to Zupe, but kicks it back to the point. Easterham's pass back to Rubatas gets blocked away and sent in deep by Kesari on the side of Unwanted. And Purification will retain possession here through the neutral zone. Bordier has down low. Nice give and go right there, but a good save by Carlson. But that stretch pass gets intercepted. Rubatas has it down low. Now Zupe trying to hit Rubatas again, but that play they keep trying to go for. Unwanted is all over it. Try to gain the line, but they are offside.
Yeah, that play just hasn't been there, as you mentioned, Sid. It makes you wonder for Purification, how are they going to look to adjust here offensively? Because I think now, 2 periods in and 5 minutes in, you're going to have to try to look to find something else to get yourself some offensive production. And once again, that's the difference in the elite division. You have to be able to adjust and find different ways to score offensively when your game plan isn't working.
Unwanted now pressuring in the offensive zone. They force the turnover again. And Laudanen just throws one on. Snus on the point, kicks it back down low, but Henke was covered. And here comes Purification back the other way. Zupe looking, shot hits his own teammate, Rubatas. Rubatas now with a shot. That's a nice save by Carlson, with Rubatas cutting across the net front with speed. A one-timer look gets blocked. Some trouble there in the corner, though, however, for Case. I think he can't get that puck away. Wickman in possession. He's getting bumped and bodied, and Launanen gets it. We're going to have a 2-on-1, maybe a 3-on-1 if they can hurry pass over. Henke scores! Beautiful counterattack from Unwanted, and Henke has capitalized.
And how about that from Unwanted? You mentioned this in a beautiful counterattack. And how about that pass? Give it over to Henke from the right boards. Not an easy pass considering the pressure that was on it and how far Henke was over to that left side, but nevertheless, made it work, squeaked it through Stumbo in that 5-hole, and now Unwanted in full control of this one. Purification with a tall mountain to climb. Let's see if they can do it.
So Unwanted continuing to press here. Swift lost possession of the puck, and Zupe coming back the other way, ran into his own teammate there, and they lost possession. And it just feels like the benchmark for their season right there. Just not able to get things going. Execution's been a bit off when it comes to offense. Wickman now passes to Beastrom. Wickman will gain the line on the left-hand side. Kicked over to Zupe. Zupe looking for Bordier. They can't connect for too long, as Unwanted's defense has been great at snuffing out these A-grade chances. The loose puck in front. Oh, Robitus just can't get it. He had an open cage, but he couldn't find that loose puck to shovel it in. Rubatas over to Wickman. He gains the line, gets drilled by Kesari, but he's unable to get that pass through. Zupe now stops up. Thought about shooting, but turns it over instead. Here comes Henke, kicked over to Launanen. One touch deep, 2 of them to gain some space. And Sufo can't quite pull the trigger. He was right in front of Scumbo. Bordier scores! Through the 5-hole, seemingly coming out of nowhere. A tight turn at the net front. And Bordier trims the deficit right back to 2.
Yeah, and the way that one went is that it was shot in off of the pad of Carlson. Out of it is, it's hard to see right there, but this would be a great angle of it, just kind of off of that in pad right here. just bounced in, had a good amount of open space in that 5-hole regardless, but still Purification, a good job getting themselves on the board, and sitting 5:15 to go. This game's not over yet. They can possibly try to get another quick one and make it a 1-goal game. We'll see if they can.
Right back in on the attack, so a base shot, loose in front, Bordier takes a swing at it. Carlson looked like he played it out right there, and he does it again. I mean, that's confidence right there. Launanen coming back the other way. Drop pass to Suk. Oh, looking for Launanen. He does eventually get it off of the forecheck. And he'll maintain possession. Loose pucks aplenty here, but they're keeping it alive. To Henka. Henka's shot stopped by Scumbo. He has been busy in this one. The save percentage won't look good, but he has had to make some tough saves, including that last one.
And it might look decent. There's been so many shots on despite allowing those 4 goals. He might still be over an 80 save percentage.
Bordier with a spin backhand of his own, but that goes off the left pad of Carlson, and he keeps it out. That would have made the last minute or so interesting. We have a delayed penalty and an icing. It'll lead to Unwanted being on the power play because of that icing. I think that face-off will come to the neutral zone, I believe.
Yeah, I believe it will, Sid, and that will pretty much do any chance that Purification more than likely has. Yeah, that is a massive hit there in the neutral zone, unfortunately penalized for it, but yeah, Unwanted in a pretty good position to bring this game home. 1 minute and 4 seconds left on the power play, up by 2, and now NHL 24. It's a fast minute here in the third period, so really more like 30 to 35 seconds here with Purification to get 2 shorthanded goals here. Really unlikely.
Very unlikely here, and now Unwanted attacking. Henka, between the legs drop pass. Just has it in the corner, looking to kick that one down. Launanen in possession, gets drilled from around the net. Scumbo will just keep that alive. See, Bordier just gets lit up as he tries to make it 1 touch deep to the middle, and bodies are flying here in the final seconds of the third. Henka behind the net, just going to be looking to kill off the time, doing a good job of it. Now in support, I think that was K-City coming in. That will do it. Unwanted. Take the win right here, getting an important 3 points in the standings when it comes to seeding. A 4-2 victory.
Absolutely huge for Unwanted to get that 3 points, especially considering that, once again, they do still have that chance to move up to 5th, potentially 4th in the standings, depending on how things go for the teams above and below them. So for Unwanted to play the way they did to get those 3 points, absolutely huge for them. As it's one thing to have an opportunity to get points in the latter stages of the season, but especially when you are playing a team that will not be able to make the playoffs, you want to be able to take advantage of those opportunities to steal those points and secure the points that you are expected to get, so to speak. Unwanted able to do that, and they did it in a fashion that I think you have to admit very, very impressive from them offensively.
Yeah, I mean, they just were really pouring the shots on a lot of the time, and you said it, I thought, maybe Scumbo deserved a little bit better of a fate when it came to his stats and things like that, but they may have just taken enough shots there. Where Scumbo's, the numbers aren't going to look too bad at the end of the day here, because he was under siege for a lot of this game as Unwanted just were coming in waves time and time again. So there's that crazy play off the back ball loose, trying to be a slap pass, in the neutral zone. It goes all the way down, and 15 shots, 4 of those allowed. Not pretty for Scumbo, but the quality of chance that he had to face, it was a lot of high quality.
And, give Purification some credit for this, because I think that goes to show that they were able to block shots in this game, despite the score being what it was, because, Sid, I don't know if you agree, but it felt like that Unwanted had a lot more than 15 shots on that. I thought it was going to be a little bit north of 20 from the way they were attacking and really finding their way to shooting the puck. So, give Purification a little bit of credit there. They were seemingly able to get in front of a couple of shooting lanes and not make that number as high as what it felt like when watching. But, once again, you just look at the offensive performance from Unwanted, some of the goals they were able to get, and a common denominator for all these is that all of them are really in tight, right in front of that blue paint. So I think for Purification going into this game number 2, I think the biggest thing is going to be how can they collapse in front to maybe try to deny some of that space from allowing Unwanted to get those shots on net in those really high danger areas. As you see, once again, all of these shots on net typically right in front of Scumbo, and it's so difficult for a goalie to make a save when a player is basically right in front of you. You can almost feel their breath breath on your face. They're so close to you. So not a lot of spacing there between the shot and the goaltender. Maybe something that Purification is going to look to adjust, trying to get more bodies in front of Scumbo. Don't want to screen him, obviously, but just trying to deny Unwanted some of that prime high danger area shooting that they got in that first game.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll see what they do in this game, too. We'll set the stage for that after a brief word from our sponsors. Don't go anywhere.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi. Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.
All right, welcome back. Thank you for sticking with us. The final game of this broadcast coming up next between Purification and Unwanted. Unwanted winning that first game by a score of 4-2, really getting the offensive guns going. And Purification kind of suffering where they have at times throughout the course of the season, failing to get enough offense. And in that case, Scumbo couldn't exactly carry them to victory.
Yeah, just both of these two teams kind of playing the way that they've played all season. Something with Unwanted I think it's kind of gone overlooked. They have the fourth highest goals for per game of any team in the Elite Division this season. The only teams with higher goals for per game than them are Valokuitunen, Esports, Television, and Straikers. So pretty darn good company to be in. We saw a little bit of that goal scoring prowess there in that game goal for Purification. Once again, just struggling to find the way offensively. We'll see how they adjust here.
Absolutely, as Launanen has it. Oh my goodness, an early chance on Henka denied by Scumbo. And looks like Purification trying to return the favor right there, but their cross-crease pass doesn't go. We do apologize for a slightly lower quality. We're going to work to get that fixed for you guys as soon as possible here on the stream end. Snus over to Henka, that one taken away. Purification now coming back the other way. Beastron trying to push through, but it's jockeyed off the puck by Snus. Swift now has it. He kicks it over. Launanen will get it. In front, Swift shot. Looks like it hit off the pad and then sailed over the net. Zupe, his pass can't get through, but they don't pay for it. And that might go down for an icing, and indeed it does.
Yeah, you know, both teams trying to get those quick opportunities, and I think that's especially important for Purification to try to do so, just because, again, they have struggled a little bit offensively this season and really weren't able to find their rhythm on the offensive end there in that first game, as we do get that feed refresh, try to get that quality there for you guys. But I like the Purification is trying to start out quick here. We'll see if they can maybe get something rewarded off of that quick start as we continue on with that first period.
Yeah, and, you know, both of the two teams, you know, they understand, especially in this matchup, getting that first goal can be oh so important. It'll change how the other team plays, and that's something that you really want to do. Try to take your opponent off of the game plan as best as you can. So here we go, back to the action. And down low, Zupe had a little bit of trouble. And Swift coming back the other way. Henka goes offside.
Yeah, it looked like Purification got a poke check there on that stick and just were able to kind of force it offside as they went back to Henka. So, you know, for Purification, once again, I think that's going to be another emphasis for them. Can they deny Unwanted some of those shots on net that they were able to test Gumbo with? So far, not off to a bad start, seemingly. It doesn't feel like Unwanted have been able to really pounce as much in the offensive zone as they were there in that first game.
Absolutely, we have another offside right here. Is Purification now kind of a bit of struggle to gain the blue line. That was sort of a lot of their trouble in that first game as well, as they weren't able to gain that blue line cleanly. So times that they were able to get set up in the offensive zone, it was that feeling of you really had to do something with it. Unwanted now in possession momentarily, but Purification gets it back. They do gain the line. Rubatus trying to keep it alive. And there's Boye with a shot on. That's turned aside by Carlson. Now a quick turnaround. Henka with some space. Has Launanen and drops it back for Boye. Oh my goodness. What a save. And excuse me, that is going to be K-City. Of course, we have the name glitch happening, and sometimes the mind just sees it and calls it. Pass in front right there. Dangerous location. K-City sends that all the way down. That won't go for icing, as Swift got there. Pass in front. Oh my goodness. I don't know if Henka expected that to get to him. The shot was delayed, and a huge save by Scumbo.
Yeah, I don't think he was, because if he puts that shot on immediately, that is most definitely a goal. Still a phenomenal save, though, from Scumbo. Difficult, nevertheless, too. Keeps this game tied at 0 somehow.
K-City now in possession. Snus passes it up to Henka. Loose puck right there, and you get nervous. We saw a goal go in like that in that Valokuitunen Straikers series, and anytime it trickles to the net, you kind of clench a bit. Offensive zone draw here for Unwanted. Tie up. They do get possession. Swift has it. He scores! Quick shot! Finds the short side. And Unwanted, once again, have struck first off of the goal by Swift.
Yep, and you see right there, off of that offensive zone face-off, just able to kind of get it, even though they lost it originally. Swift able to stay with the play, gets possession of it, and once again, a shot that was rather close in on Scumbo is just not able to make that save there on that top corner, and Unwanted get that critical first goal of the game. And as we mentioned, Sin, is critical in a series like this for Purification, where they have struggled to find offense.
Hit along the wall right there was Boye. And Henka begins to work that one out. Launanen in possession. Will get through. And that is a sick pass from K-City, finding Sooth. And Unwanted double up their lead. And you're seeing why they're one of the best offensive teams in the Elite Division.
and the pass to Swift maybe is what made that play, but I think we have to give a lot of credit on the secondary assist to Laune carrying that in from the neutral zone on. Now, don't get me wrong, he did get a bit of a bounce there. I thought the Purification played that rather well, got a good stick or two on that puck, and Laune was just kind of able to get it back, but still, his ability to be able to carry that puck in was what was able to lead to Unwanted getting that pass off the Swift and getting that second goal.
Eastrom in possession now. Purification want a quick response. The good news is it is still early. Robitus shot. Hits off the pad and goes wide. Eastrom on the point trying to keep it alive and just send that one in deep. Can't do it, but fortunately no counterattack on the side of Unwanted. Zupe as everyone goes into the corner. That actually leads to a power play here for Purification. As I think one of those hip checks connected with someone it shouldn't have.
Yeah, I think for Purification, this is a massive opportunity considering that you just could see the 2 goals. Unwanted seems like they had all the momentum on their side. Purification has to try to take advantage of this here because something you mentioned earlier, Sid, I think when you're in the offensive zone, you think, man, we really have to take advantage if you struggle to break in. It can cause mistakes. Have to capitalize here on this offensive opportunity.
To a good start on the power play so far, but able to keep it in right there, and counterattack coming. Launen, one-touch deep to the middle, gets snuffed out. Eastrom coming back the other way. 3-on-2 with speed now for Purification. Zupe taking his time with it, looking to set things up. Wickman over to Bistrom. Now to the corner right there. They failed to get that one away. K-City trying to kill some time. Has to be careful, but Henke will get it. And that will do it for the first period. Unwanted take a 2-0 lead into the dressing room, and we'll have a bit of carryover power play time for Purification to start the second.
Yeah, it's a good thing for Purification too, because it just seems like they don't have a lot going for them right now on the offensive end. I feel like a broken record saying it, but it really is something that has kind of impacted the scope of this game. While for Unwanted, it feels like whenever they've gotten to the offensive zone, they have gotten chances, and more times than not, they have been able to take advantage of them, which, by the way, Sid, we have a quick score update from around the league. Exen defeats Totori 5-4 in regulation, so a massive development there, because remember, Exen is directly behind Unwanted, and they now have the same amount of games played, so there's a 1-point difference between the two. Unwanted more than likely going to want to go ahead and win this one in regulation, considering that they do know now that Exen is hunting them down there for that 6th or potentially 5th spot. And for Totori now, they could have potentially passed tunnel vision had they won that game or tied it, or gotten an overtime loss rather, could have tied them in the standings. So massive standings implications here all throughout the league, especially for Unwanted, who we see now on the screen.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll hopefully be able to get all the games reported ASAP and be able to show everyone the end of the season standings and how the playoff brackets are going to shape up. Always an exciting time heading into the playoffs here in the ECL. But we got more hockey to play here between Unwanted and Purification as the second period is underway. Again, a little bit of carryover power play time for Purification, but early offside. And they probably don't have too much time. Maybe if they win this face-off, they can set it up quick, get themselves a chance. Zope has it, but that is, in my opinion, kind of an egregious mistake right there. Yeah, that was a clean face-off win, and they just a miscommunication on the entry.
Yeah, and that's just been the story for Purification. It feels like just the break-ins to the offensive zone have not really been there. There's not been a lot of time and space, whether it's been Unwanted denying it of them or Purification just not really being on the same page. And that's a lot to do with their offensive struggle so far in this game.
Oh, and a trickling puck. Henke's almost getting gifted a goal right there. Robitus coming back the other way. He gets drilled by K-City. But they get that puck in. The feed across the middle doesn't go. A lot of force passes here from Purification, but not a lot to show for it as Eastrom tried to take that shot. Henke coming back the other way, but Eastrom will pick up the loose puck as he was back checking. His pass up the wall gets disrupted. Launen now in possession. His pass over. It finds its way to Henke. But a good save. And another spin shot right there. Henke still has it. Tries to feed Launen, and Soot gets it. His shot denied by Scumbo. Henke now. Fed K-City. Snow's trying to keep that one alive. Play goes up the wall. Bordier has it stripped away, and Unwanted right now just suffocating Purification.
Yeah, that's really been, once again, one of the big impacts of this game. Unwanted just causing so many issues for Purification when they've had the puck on their stick. They just aren't able to get anything cleanly. You can just see them hounding, swarming all over the ice, and it creates another offside call. Purification just really not able to find much of a rhythm, because every time it seems like they're trying to create something, Unwanted is right there in their face disrupting it.
Neutral zone draw right here, 1 in favor of Unwanted. Nice spin pass right there, and K-City joining the rush, but would create an odd man back the other way, but they're just relentless pressure. And another offside right here on the side of Purification. And we'll get a reset here in a neutral zone draw.
Yeah, and I do not mean this as a disrespect whatsoever to Purification, but this is one of those games where I genuinely do wish that we had a count of offsides, because it just kind of goes to show you how much trouble Unwanted is given Purification in terms of that breakout.
Yeah, and K-City fed that up the ice immediately. You're seeing Unwanted, you know, they're feeling themselves right now. You're seeing a lot of one-touch deeks. You're seeing spin passes here, and you don't pull those off unless you're feeling confident. Henka now looking for some space. Launinen will get it in the corner. K-City up top, has to be careful, gets bodied. Poirier coming back the other way. Fortunately, we are having some more lag spikes here from the feed that we are being given, and we'll try to clean that up for you guys immediately. And there we go, Henka in behind the net. Launinen in some trouble. Poirier has it. Spin, looking for that spin from behind the net again, and that's a goal. That's a mistake from Carlson. Feeling too good about it, passing it out through all that traffic. His team standing still. I don't think they're ready for it, and that ends up in the back of the net, Brandon.
Yeah, I think they thought he was going to hold on to it, and Carlson Adam waited until really the last possible second before it would have been a freeze to play that out. We've seen him play that puck out a few times, and it looked dangerous. This time, it finally comes back to bite him, and I don't think that's a great play. I know you're feeling good, but you don't want to lean on the side of being overconfident. This game, far from over, just a 2-goal deficit, now just 1 for Purification. Give them life now.
Shot on right there, and unfortunately, they can't hold the line. That was a good shot attempt. Created a nice rebound in the corner, but they'll have to reset once again. It's bad. Soot coming in all alone. He scores! A mistake you can't afford to make as a defenseman. A D-to-D pass with a forechecker lurking, and Soot will secure the hat trick.
Yeah, so the mistake from Unwanted, Purification capitalizes on, and this time a mistake from Purification being capitalized on by Unwanted. You said it there, Sin. That is the last thing you can afford to do as a defender on the breakout. A D-to-D pass with a forechecker right there in the vicinity, not open. I think that's one of those situations where you would like to see the defender kind of just go back and reset, take it himself to try to open up some more passing options on another attempt. Instead, he tries to force a pass that isn't there, and it ends up haunting him.
Robitus forces the turnover in the neutral zone. Poirier now. Pass over, they score! Zope will capitalize in response for Purification, and don't go anywhere quite yet. The back and forth action continues, and we're back to a 1-goal game.
And hey, give Purification some credit. They are fighting, keeping themselves in this game, and that's one of the first times we've seen them have a clear-cut opportunity on a counterattack, able to break in cleanly to the offensive zone, counter on the rush, make a play on that cross crease, and Carlson Adam just not able to get to that opposite side to make the save. That right there is what you want to see from Purification. Get those opportunities, get a clean breakout, and you see what they're capable of when they are able to do so. This is a team that does have the ability offensively. They just have to put themselves in the position to show it.
Yeah, and just got to work on that execution. I mean, we've seen so many cross-crease passes that just haven't connected. They finally get it to happen right there, and they make the most of it. They're right back in on the attack. Zope behind the net, in some trouble. Good job shimmying right there to keep the puck away from the defenders. Robitus now to Zope. His shot gets blocked. Wickman, not too sure if that was a shot that hit something or a shot past that went into the corner. Nonetheless, Unwanted has it, trying to come back the other way. Eastrom in all kinds of trouble. He turns it over. Launinen shot gets blocked. He has it once more. Shot blocked once again, this time by Robitus, and he'll clear that zone. Poirier gets tripped up, and we're going to see a Purification power play once again. 1:50 left in the second, and they have a 2-minute man advantage.
Yeah, and remember Purification, they weren't really able to do a lot with that first power play at the end of the first period and the beginning of the second, but I have to be honest with you, I think if you're Unwanted, I think you gotta have to settle things down here and kind of talk things through, because it feels like they're just playing a little bit out of their element. Maybe got the feeling a little bit too good, making careless mistakes that have put Purification back in this game, and the last thing you want to do is give the other side momentum when you had all of it. This power play, if Purification finds a way to score on it, look out, that could be dangerous territory for Unwanted.
And here they come. Rubitus will gain the line. They'll look to set things up with the man advantage. Eastrom in possession. Back up top to Wickman. Shot on by Zupe right there. Not everything he wanted on that one-timer, but they'll take the shot nonetheless.
Yeah, a good shot, good cycle there to create that opportunity. As you mentioned, I think it lacked a little bit of power on that shot to say the least. Definitely was looking for a harder one-timer than that one.
Wickman taking his time with it, set down low. Zupe will indeed get it. Trying to look out front, but he has it sticked away, but they get it back in the forecheck. They score! Quick! Look right there. Bourrier on the one-timer. Purification won't go away, and they have tied this game up.
How about Purification? They fight their way back, and you know, Sin, I can't help but to wonder, as I mentioned earlier, Unwanted got a little bit overconfident maybe, started making some mistakes that they weren't making earlier, and they give Purification a little bit of room to breathe, and just like that, they find their way offensively and tie this thing up on the power play. We've got a new games in our hands, folks.
We'll see what Unwanted can do in response, but they turn it over as they try to cross the line. Here comes Purification. Gotta feel like momentum's on their side. Bourrier tried the wrap around there with time expiring. And that will do it for the second period. We're headed into the third period, all square, tied up at 3-3.
Yeah, and I think this is a well-deserved result here right now for both of these two teams. Unwanted getting that hot start, but starting to make some of the mistakes that we saw Purification making earlier, and Purification finally able to find their way a little bit in the offensive zone. And as we mentioned, when they've been able to get there, it's not that they've been necessarily bad, it's just they haven't been able to really establish that zone time, and it's hard to create opportunities for yourself when you aren't able to really get into the offensive zone and force the issue. So Purification, they got a little bit of a gasp of life there with the Carlson Adam misplay, and then able to take advantage of the power play, and all of a sudden you have a 3-3 game and stats that are very, very even across the board.
Yeah, I mean, time on attack, just 1 second separating them. The shots, just 2, 11 for Unwanted, 9 for Purification. Trying to get a look at some of these replays here, but the lag from the feed continuing here. We're, again, trying to clean this up as much as we can here to get back to the gameplay, but I mean, it's a tight one here. You can make that argument Unwanted, maybe taking their opponent for granted a little bit. But we'll see what happens. Third period about ready to get underway. Can Purification battle back and solve some of the offensive woes that they've been facing this season? They need at least one more to be able to get the victory. Launanen, though, getting that puck in for Unwanted. Pass across, that's a big save on the side of Scumbo, still alive. They have to be careful with it. Good job by Zupe to slow things down. Here comes Bourrier on the side of Purification, but it's taken away. Okay, said he can't get that one across. Launanen now in possession. One-touch deke to the middle, though. Good defensive presence to get in the way of that wraparound chance denied. Still fighting for it, deep in the zone. Zupe will get it, takes his time with it. Smart play to Wickman, but he turns it over. Didn't have the support pass there. Shot! Save! Oh, Scumbo's able to cover it right there, nearly in the back of the nets.
How about Scumbo? What a save, and look at him cover that right there as it had a chance to maybe be poked in. The puck was sitting there loose, and man, what a save there by him. And that looked like the Unwanted team. That last 4-minute sequence, that looked like the Unwanted team that we saw in the first 30 minutes of this game and throughout the entirety of game one, swarming all over the place, finding offensive opportunities. We didn't really see much of that in the last 10 minutes where Purification found their way back into this one. That is the play that we need to see from Unwanted, especially considering how much is on the line with that playoff positioning in their hands.
Absolutely, and again, for those of you who may not remember, I'm sure you do, because I know I do, this Unwanted team They nearly took Straikers to the brink in the playoffs last season. They were just phenomenal, especially on the counterattack. And looking at this game now, I mean, they have just added other elements to their game, a good forecheck, a good cycle. They are just really seeming to come into their own here in the Elite Division. And, well, they'll be back in the postseason. The only thing to determine now is what seed they have. They get another regulation win here. They could be the one in that 5 seed. As that's a dangerous play right there, as it was just chipped out from the corner by Casey. It went right in front of his goaltender, but here's a big counterattack coming the other way. Casey leading, nice poke right there. See if Purification can get anything in response. But once again, Unwanted clogging up that neutral zone. Snus to Soot, they do gain the line. Casey gets bumped. Wickman jumping up, he'll get it to Robitas. Poirier will get it in response. Zope now trying to take this one behind the net into the corner. And again, we're trying to get these freezes solved for you guys. Launinen coming back the other way, has that one taken. K3 from the point right there, blocked in front. Eastrom all the way up, that's a good pass. Poirier in possession, he tries to go back door, and that puck nearly bounced to the late man Robitas. Eastrom has it once again for Purification. Passed up, Poirier, self-sauce off the wall, looking to gain some speed, gets down low to Zupe. He looked for the wraparound, didn't get the animation he wanted, but Robitas still has it deflected. They score! Shot from the point by Wickman, and a deflection. We have another hat trick in the game, this time for Poirier, and Purification have taken the lead.
Indeed they have, Sin, and you know, give Purification a lot of credit. They deserve this. They've continued to fight. They've continued to find their way, and that is absolutely massive for the playoff hunt. As we actually just got a score update again. Exton defeated Tortured a second time, this time 2-0. So Unwanted, if they were to win this game in regulation, could potentially be as high as the 4 seed, but yet here comes Purification out of the playoffs, playing for pride. They come back and take their first lead this entire series. Now all of a sudden the pressure shifts on the side of Unwanted. An absolute unraveling here potentially, considering that they were up 3-1 late in the second.
Launinen has that one poked away as Purification playing with a whole lot more hop in their step right now. Turnover right there by Henga, but he's in great position, avoids the breakaway coming back. That was huge. Henga now feeding it over. Force pass through, Launinen can't get the clean shot away, looking for the short side. Scumbo has to squeeze the wickets together, and we're seeing some chippiness now after the whistles.
Yeah, I think Unwanted's frustrated with how this game is all of a sudden unfolded. You were up 3-1, you looked well on your way to a sweep in this series and 6 points, and all of a sudden Purification pretty much rise from the dead and come back. I mean, basically like the Undertaker gift to where they just rose up all of a sudden and they're in the lead just like that with just 6.5 minutes remaining. So now for Unwanted, I think the question is, how do you put all of that aside and focus on this next 6 minutes and 25 seconds? You can't really think too much about the long-term view. You have to focus on what's in front of you. Find that extra goal, at least get it to overtime, and try to take it from there. You can't worry about standings. You can't worry about what Purification have done. Have to focus on the now.
Oh, that's a good shot right there. Created the rebound. Henka was lurking. And they will get an icing call because of that. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of physicality after the whistles here, but another offensive zone draw for Unwanted.
You wonder here for Purification, what do they look to do? Do they start to play a little bit tighter and go to a more defensive-minded play style, or do they continue to push the issue? I think you have to keep doing what you have been doing, but just an extra thought considering that it's late in this game. This is the first time they've played with the lead all day long.
Yeah, that's a great point. This is their first lead of this 2-game set here. It's a good blue line stand right there, forcing the offside off of Unwanted. This is precious time ticking off the clock. Nice face-off win as well. Yeah, fast minute. It's only a real time at 30 seconds. In NHL 24, Zupe has it. Trying to kick that one down low, but it's taken away. Launinen has to wait for support. Casey joining the rush. He gets bodied by Poirier, and he's counterattacking back the way. Space down the side. Oh, he gets drilled from behind. Keisari now leading it up the ice once again. Has Launanen. Oh, he's got it back in. Saved by Scumbo. And he continues to make clutch stops here down the stretch.
And as much as Purification have started to find their game offensively, Scumbo has done a great job keeping this one at bay. Unwanted have had plenty of opportunities in the offensive zone, and Scumbo has done a great job of denying them ever since that third goal in the second period.
Zope has it knocked off his stick, so coming back the other way. Slows up, looking for that pass. It's disrupted. Robitus kicks it up. Zope gets drilled. Bordier in support, trying to keep it alive. Ties him up on the wall. And Purification will reset. We're in the final minute here. Zope just killing time, sends that one in deep and will be the lone forechecker. Smart thinking from Purification. They're all back, trying to hold that blue line. Nice poke. They force the turnover. Pass up. Bordier has it. Nice deke. Oh, man, that would have been pretty if he was able to connect on that. Snus now back the other way. Fed in front. Henke can't get the shot away. Loose in front. Zupe just trying to get it out. He can't. It is now finally out. Bordier in alone. Insult to injury. Oh my goodness. Goes for the Forsberg. We'll call it that. We got a lot of Swedes here. Attempts the Forsberg, but he can't capitalize. But Purification, a huge come from behind victory to really snuff out a lot of the hope for Unwanted of moving up in the standings, getting a more favorable first round matchup. At this point, I'm not too sure, but I think mathematically they're locked into taking on either Strikers or Tunnel Vision.
Yes, it looks like they are, because Exon won their final game, so that means that they pass Unwanted, and Unwanted is at the 7th seed. It looks like they will match up with Strikers, so a rematch of last season. You mentioned it, Sin. You know, Strikers, they got pushed to the brink against Unwanted, but I'm correct. Strikers were, about 30 seconds away from pushing it to a Game 7, and then Strikers ended up just kind of marking a magical comeback in the third of that Game 6. I could be wrong. I know you and Tugi were on the call for that one, but Unwanted were very close to pushing that to 7 games. Who knows what would have happened if they had done so, but this has to still be a really disappointing result here for Unwanted. You're up 3-1. You feel like you have all the momentum in the world, and you know, you hate to go back on one play, but I can't help but to go back on the play out from Carlson Adam when they were up 2-0. It ended up leading to the goal. His teammates weren't really ready for him to pass that out. And it felt like ever since from that point on, Purification kind of had a little bit more pep in their step. They felt like, okay, we have some life in this one. Unwanted ended up going back up 3-1, but it just felt like from that point forward, Purification kind of found their way a little bit and felt like, okay, we can maybe win this game. They had that sense of belief in the momentum. It kind of evened out and then eventually keeled its way over to the side of Purification. So give Purification a lot of credit. They deserved this win. They fought back, played really well, I think, throughout that last 30 minutes, outplayed Unwanted in the last 30 minutes of that game. It's just a really disappointing result, though, for Unwanted, considering that they looked well in control of this game and I think really did some things that they will probably want to have back when they did have to lead.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, mistakes can cost you. It cost them in this game, and you want to try to eliminate those mistakes, create good habits heading into the playoffs here. And, well, Unwanted's going to have to do a little bit of soul searching there because they're taking on an opponent they did great against last season, sure, but Strikers, I mean, we just saw them against, you know, the defending champions, and I think Strikers have also taken steps forward, and they are also better than last season. So if you're Unwanted here, got to try to forget about this, but take the lessons from it. Don't play it out unless you're sure, because man, we've seen some ugly things happen from goaltenders playing it out throughout this season and last season especially. Seems to be more meta now for goaltenders to play it out with the advent of the pressure system, but at times, in my opinion, I think sometimes just hold it. Trust your centerman, trust your team to work that puck out of the zone.
Yeah, and it's tough not to go back to last season with Unwanted. I think that, despite being disappointed that you don't have a higher seeding, could have been at the 4 or 5 playing Bjorklöven or Tortorit. You have to remember, they also split the season series with Strikers in the regular season. Won 2-1, lost 2-5. But the difference between this season and last season, however, is that I think Unwanted, they were a little bit better down the stretch last season. I'm actually looking at it now. Going into that series against Strikers last season, Unwanted were 6-2-2 in their last 10 games. That was really what kind of pushed them forward into the playoffs. coming into today, they were below 500, 4-5-1 in their last 10. Looks like it's probably going to stay that way, no better than 5-5. So not on the same level of form that they were coming into the playoffs last season. But again, this is an unwanted team that still has been, I think, very underrated, I think, in the Elite Division. They're a very good offensive side, playing another strong offensive side on the other end, and Straikers more than likely. And, hopefully some of these games will continue to kind of roll in as we wrap things up to get a better look at what some of those final playoff matchups are going to be, because the parity this season has been absolutely amazing top to bottom. We're going to have 4 series that are going to be absolute bangers. I can promise you that for sure.
Yeah, you never want to necessarily see those one-and-done seasons as we have seen in the past, but Unwanted back in the playoffs, another chance to, play against Straikers here, and both of those teams have made improvements, so I'm really excited for that series to get underway. And of course, once again, we have less regular season coverage these days at the ECL, but the trade-off, we're covering all of the playoffs. We're covering every single game of every single round, and that's the way that we want it here at the ECL. And I'm very, very excited to get that. We're going to maybe hopefully kick it over to the standings soon if that does get updated and the games get reported, so we can get more of an idea of what that's going to look like here. But again, implications heavy. I think you pulled up a great point, Brandon. Momentum is important. Heading into the playoffs, playing the way that you want to play is very important. That last game to me and the record leading up to today for Unwanted tells me maybe they're not in as comfortable as a spot momentum-wise as they were in the last season. So we'll have to see if that will kind of affect them going in, because in my opinion, Straikers maybe playing the best I've seen them since they were a champion, caliber type team. They just looked fantastic earlier against Valokuitunen. So we'll take a look now at the standings. Hopefully, as much gets reported as possible, we can fill in the gaps with some of the results that we know that have been reported. So I believe Tunnel Vision won that final game against Vesapompa, correct? So they should have, in regulation, 58 points, if I'm not mistaken. Exen and Totorit will be that 4-5 matchup, and you see Unwanted slipping down to 7. In fact, a chance to move up to the 5 seed, and they're down in 7.
And it could have maybe even potentially have been 4, depending. Not that that would have made the biggest difference, but just think about how much that changes things for a few teams. Now we get a Totorit versus Exen matchup. 2 teams that I don't think people were going to think was going to be in that position. I think people probably thought that Exen maybe would have been a little bit better in the regular season. The former Yippee Vasco squad kind of struggled to find form in the earlier parts of the season, have slowly but surely kind of gotten to that standard we tend to expect out of them. While Totori, a team that really no one thought was going to be in the playoffs, but a top 4 finish for them. Absolutely outstanding. They were probably rooting hard for Purification to make that comeback happen. They get their wish, and that's going to be a really intriguing matchup to watch against those 2 teams that are very, very different in a playoff matchup that we don't typically see. I don't think these 2 have ever met in the playoffs before, so that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, unless it was a time where Yippee Vaskala was bounced down to the pro division, because once upon a time that indeed happened, and it was after the time where they're the 1 seed and got upset in the first round by Färjestad. So here are the brackets locked in. Valokuitunen taking on the Blackjacks in the first round. Straikers taking on Unwanted. Tunnel Vision up against Bjorklöven, and Totorit taking on Exen. These are fantastic matchups, and I cannot wait till our coverage on all of these, Brandon.
Yeah, this is going to be just so much fun. I mean, you just see all of these teams, all of them just so good, but in different ways, really. And I think that that's what the most intriguing thing to me about these matchups are, is that all of these teams, for the most part, are very different from one another. Really, the only 2 teams I would say are similar-esque in terms of play style are probably Straikers and Unwanted, and even then, Straikers is a better defensive side, I would say, than Unwanted really throughout the season. So all of these series are very different, but they're all entertaining in those different ways. So this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. We also have a lot of different names that we typically wouldn't see. As we mentioned, Bjorklöven Esports getting into the playoffs in their first Elite Division season after being down in the Pro Division last season. Totorit being up there, Unwanted being up there, Exen, a new team that was Yippee Vasco in the past, Valokuitunen Esports, who used to be HRED. So a lot of different names, whether it be through just team name or just different teams in general, making their way into the playoffs. That is so fun to see. It's going to be a lot of fun. And one more thing too, look out for that Bjorklöven Esport versus Tunnel Vision matchup. We've talked a lot about Formston. Tunnel Vision, I think, have lacked that form throughout the season, especially on the defensive end. They've struggled defensively, and Bjorklöven Esport won a game and lost in overtime when these two met in the regular season. I know a lot of people haven't paid a lot of attention to Bjorklöven Esport this season, but look out for them. I think they could really make some noise. If there would have to be a team I think could potentially pull off an upset, it could be them. Give them a good look.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look up and down. I mean, Bjorklöven has a chance. Unwanted has a chance based purely on the result from last season. And, for the Blackjacks, they've been yo-yoing around in the playoffs, out of the playoffs, fighting for their spot. But, they are also a team that has always had the capability to upset some of the higher seeding teams. You think back to regular season matchups, they're always splitting games against Straikers or Tunnel Vision. Occasionally the HREDs or Valokuitunen, as they're now known. It's going to be a fantastic playoffs. And honestly, obviously, we simply cannot wait for them to get underway. And shout out from No Sleeves for that raid. Appreciate it. You and I can celebrate Celebrini in about 43 days or so. And we can't wait for that, obviously. But enough of that. About the East, back to the ECL. I mean, this is just going to be an absolutely fantastic playoffs, and we can't wait for them to get underway. And once again, guys, you are not going to want to miss that. I'm not too sure if we have any promo sheets made for that quite yet, but dates wise, coming in just a couple weeks, as I have about 10 screens up and I'm trying to find the right thing. Brandon, take over a second.
Yeah, no worries. As you know, this is going to be a lot of fun to watch. And something else I think, too, that you have to remember, we talked a little bit about Straikers and Unwanted. Last season, that playoff series, every single game was decided by one goal. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 of those games were decided in overtime. So these two are very familiar with each other. As we mentioned, Straikers, who ended up making it to the final, could have very well been bounced out in round one if a goal here or a goal there goes a different way. So I know it's easy to be down on Unwanted considering how that last game went. They're not in the best form, but I think that despite that, they do have some positivity going into this one. And, again, said all of these playoff matchups so close. All of them very unique. I'm looking forward to it, man. I can't wait. Can we just go ahead and simulate on to the playoffs here already? Right? I can't wait for this to start.
Well, we won't have to wait too long, and that is a good thing. Playoffs kicking off Sunday, May 19th, where we'll have the 4 and 5 and 1 and 8 seeds playing their first 2 games. We'll also be playing on Monday the 20th, Wednesday the 22nd, and then in the next week, the 27th, 29th, and the 30th. That will be the quarterfinal schedule, and we can't wait for that to get underway. Of course, we hope to see you all there, and we thank you all for tuning in today for this last regular season ECL Elite broadcast. We'd like to thank our sponsor, of course, Kouvolan Lakritsi, for their continued support of the ECL, helping to make our dream here at SportsGamer alive to continue to push Sixes into the height of that NHL esports caliber where it deserves to be. So we thank you all once again for tuning in. For Brandon, my name is Sin, and we'll see you all in the playoffs very, very soon.
Minkä päällä lakukastike maistuu parhaalta? Ei voi tietää, ellei kokeile. Kouvolan lakritsi.